Hello, chat. I am not late, I swear.
Hello, chat. Immediately, robots.
Wait, was I roboting?
Just at a very brief.
Oh no. The stream's already a
Right,
disaster.
right when you said hello, chat, I was like,
No! Alright, I know we were doing Fighters Guild last time. Ah. That's where I have to go. Kree, why are roboting? Because robots are the future.
your buffering is bad and you should feel bad.
Oh. I don't know why I went to the Mages Guild. I was just on autopilot there for a second.
Fighters Guild, Mage Guild.
He's so small. He's so tiny. Anyways.
Hmm? Oh, I forgot you did that to this guy.
It's always funny when I do that in a stream and I completely forget about it. And I see the characters like 2 feet tall. I just lose my shit.
You look like a shrewd businessman.
Greetings.
What's going on with you?
They say that slavery has been abolished in Morrowind. House Dress and Lalu have renounced the slave trade and freed the beast folk from servitude.
Morrowind has
Lies.
always been a troubling place. It seems it is more so now.
Goodbye.
Bye. Well met.
Wow, that conversation didn't go as tismy as I thought it would. It was just like a normal conversation for once. Good job, Oblivion, you did it. Kree, can you do an Oblivion analysis eventually? It's on the to-do list after like 1,000 other things. But it is on the list.
How are you today?
We're going to casually mention how the Dark Elves have just, decided slavery is not their thing anymore. Immediately followed by, and things were made worse.
So, one thing I did want to mention early on is the Super Chat goal feature that YouTube has now. I was checking it out, and I kind of hate how limited it is, because you can't set a dollar amount. It's for a number of Super Chats for each tier, right? And instead of, like, being able to put whatever number you want, like, okay, let's say I want to get 2 yellow Super Chats, so $20, basically, to reach a goal. No, I can't do that. The increments are 1, 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, and 50. It's like, why can't I just input a number? Why does it have to be a drop-down menu? It's really weird, and I don't like it. $2 from Mischi, thank you. Thoughts on the Nuka-Cola guy in the boneyard? Don't really have much thoughts on him. It just seems like a small, slightly out-of-the-way joke. Like, yeah, it's a guy addicted to Nuka-Cola, but, like, it's nowhere near as egregious as the Nuka-Cola bitch, you know?
Just about every Fallout game, I think, has one. You might call it a running joke, but it's always been a passing joke, except for
Bethesda.
Yeah, well, even in Fallout 4, you have a guy who's so addicted to Nuka-Cola, he doesn't drink fucking water.
It's just like me with chocolate milk.
Yeah, but but in his case, it's like, okay, there's a bit more to him, though. It's like, okay, I can help you get off of this. I can give you a job, and it's also more of a throwaway thing. I mean, he's not there so long that he's obnoxious about it.
Yeah. At the very least, it's more acceptable than what Fallout 3 did, and then Fallout 4 again did with its DLC by reintroducing that character.
Yeah, well, you know what? If they were going to do Nuka World, I could actually see them using it because it's a funny haha thing. But at the same time, they built entire quests around her. that didn't need to happen.
Yeah. Creed, did you see the Desm Bros Avowed update video? No, I haven't. I mentioned this on stream the other day. I started writing a quick review for Avowed based on the 8 hours I played on stream. And I'm kind of second guessing myself on, like, particularly the criticisms I have of combat, because I've been seeing a lot of people saying no, they've been really enjoying the game. The combat is not terrible to pretty good. I'm like, that is just not the experience I had at all. So maybe I was playing wrong and I need to go back and double check it, or maybe they were doing a magic build, which I've heard the magic build is actually pretty good for combat. It's melee that sucks, and I went melee. Kritosis, are you...
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to read the next comment. If you have something on the subject, go.
So I was going to comment on that. Is like, when does the MLP rant start? It does not, because MLP came after Oblivion and never did actually do any fandom tie-ins to Oblivion. If you want that, you want Skyrim.
Well, no, what they're referring to is it's become...
I know, because Pagan doesn't shut up about it once it gets going.
For some reason, the soundboard isn't playing through the microphone anymore.
Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I don't even know if Pagan is online right now. Let me check quickly.
Oh, no!
Oh, no. No, he's not online right now. Why are you going?
Because me and him would be going at it about... I tend to like things a lot more than you guys do, and when he's concerned, I like a lot more of MLP Gen 4 than he does. He's much more of a purist, and I'm much more casually enjoying it. And I shouldn't say casual enjoyment, since I'm in like a G1 brony, for fuck's sake.
I have no comments, because yeah.
I mean, when I would get home from high school, I would be watching G.I. Joe, because it is G.I. Joe or Transformers, for whatever reason they were showing them in competition. It'd be G.I. Joe. There's one other one that I can't... yeah, I'm sorry, My Little Pony, and Robotech, in that order.
Never even heard of Robotech.
You didn't hear of Robotech?
Nope.
Okay, Robotech was basically the Americanized anime series, because they took like 3 different anime and basically localized and combined them for American audiences.
No.
You could actually say it's what made anime popular in the U.S. because it was broadcast on like the biggest UHF stations at the time. So if you didn't want to watch any of the other various cartoons, or the other cartoons had run their course and you still wanted cartoons, then you would be watching Robotech or Voltron.
Voltron I did hear about.
Yeah. Of course, Voltron goes way back to... Jeez. I'm trying to remember the first time I even saw Voltron. Might have been in the late 70s? But, yeah. Yes, I'm old. So yeah, Robotech, and BattleTech was heavily inspired by Robotech to the point that lawsuits were involved. If you want to get me rolling, start talking about BattleTech, for fuck's sake.
Well,
there were so many lawsuits about that shit.
I also know nothing about BattleTech, so I will not be starting such rants.
Okay, so...
Oh my god, no!
Need to do the thing of grabbing a beer and cracking it open. So...
Oh my god. Kree, are you going to be setting goals? I was considering setting one because I talked before about the change game bounty midstream. And I was going to set one for that. And because I can't set a dollar amount, I can't set the exact price. And because I can't set custom super chat numbers, I can't set the exact price. So it's like, fuck, how do you win on that? That's what I mean. It's so inconvenient the way they have it set up. Just allow people to put in a number. And you know what? If it's something ridiculous, then it's not going to get filled. Because, like, that's the thing. Even with this system, you could do something ridiculous for the Super Chat goals. You can... Hold on. Let me show you how ridiculous this can get in real time. 50 Super Chats, red and higher, in 15 minutes. Share how you celebrate? I'll do a start goal. You know how much money 50 red super chats is? That's like fucking $5,000, I think. Yes, chat, give me $5,000 and I'll do a
$5,000. American or Canadian? Because it's getting to the point where...
Because I set my YouTube... For the longest time, I just didn't set country for YouTube. I set it recently to say Canada to be accurate. So now it's locked me into Canadian dollars on that.
Ooh. Probably a smart move.
To switch it to show Canada?
Like somebody puts up, $5,000, cool, and you get 50 cents Canadian.
Tell you what, chat, if you actually reach the goal of fucking $5,000, I'll play some crappy game in like one sitting. We'll have to figure it out, but like, I don't know, Dragon Age Veilguard or something. If you hit 5,000,
I was gonna suggest Desert Bus, but that's more pain than bad.
Not pain, just tedious, because there's like, you literally just prevent the bus from going off the road, and you have to keep yourself busy for 12 hours.
Literally longer than the actual drive would be by several factors. Oh, Ride to Hell. Have you ever tried that one?
I haven't played it. I've seen a full playthrough of it years ago. I have a copy that I intend to stream at some point. But, yeah, chat could definitely make that happen faster if they do a super chat goal or a bounty.
Greetings.
Oh, speaking of super chat.
$5 from Mischie. Thank you. It came to me recently that Bethesda seems allergic to creativity. The most generic fantasy, post-apocalypse, and space settings possible. Yeah, and that's a point I kind of want to focus on a bit more in future videos. It's the fact...
I actually wanted to comment on that, yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, like, the thing with Bethesda, people need to remember about their corporate culture, is the way that they design and manufacture games goes back to when they damn near bankrupted themselves multiple times, and they only got through it by taking every shortcut possible, using incredible amounts of crunch time and small development teams. So people complain that they constantly use the same engine, they never want to update or anything. No, they don't, because that's expensive. That's money. And the thing is, once they got past that and actually broke out, say what you will, Fallout 3 made them a lot of money. New Vegas also made them a lot of money. Fallout 4 made them also a lot of money. They had the resources that they could have piled into doing something other than what they have been, which is just like incremental upgrades.
Yeah.
So instead of doing the leaps and bounds that we see from other long-established companies in the field, we see them just doing this incremental minimalist shit, and it's led directly into their willingness to just write and produce schlock, because it's like that line from Chernobyl. Why did they use graphite on the control rods? Because it's cheaper.
Yeah. Just for me to respond to the super chat, It's in addition to what Calbeck said, it does in ways feel like a bit of laziness to me because or maybe not laziness, but just a lack of creativity. We know ML isn't the best writer, to be kind. I just don't think they're capable of anything beyond generic fantasy stuff.
He doesn't understand overlay. But we've seen that individual quests can be good or reasonably well written, but there's nothing tying it all together, and often they contradict.
Yeah.
So he doesn't know how to overlay. He just we just do a whole bunch of stuff, and then we have a generic quest that ties everything together, and that's like.
Yeah, a lot of it comes down to, and this might be a bit reductive, but just like, we have ideas that we think are neat or interesting, so we're going to throw them into the pot of stew, and there's just no connective tissue between that and the rest of the world they're building. And that's why we see a lot of the problems we do. What's that? Kellogg has cyborg implants to explain why he's still alive after 100 years? Well, why not just make him a synth? The whole story revolves around them in the first place.
That's also not how cyborgs work.
The
rest of the flesh continues to age.
The excuse they have is that whatever cyborg implant he has prevents aging. It's literally just science magic.
Okay, yeah. I mean, if I had to bullshit an answer, it would be because he's actually a synth. He doesn't know it. His mind got uploaded the same way that Valentine's did. So he's in one of these ever eternal, never aging machines.
And
it has further enhancements, that's all.
Well, not just that. Anytime, like, you could even explain it that they can 3D print a new Kellogg anytime they want, and they've had to several times, because he's failed in missions before. How interesting would that be for, like, a primary early game antagonist, where he's just, maybe you even kill him once, and then you run into him again later.
I mean, you can kill him in Fort Hagen, and that's part of the plot. And it's kind of like, oh, well, that was over. Then you have, like, most players were like, wow, that was over and done with. Is that really it? If he had shown up later, and then you had the reveal of that, they're just printing new versions of him.
Yeah.
That would have been cool.
Yeah. And there's so much you can do story-wise with that, too. Like, maybe he even realizes the existential hell that he's in. That, oh yeah, I'm not even the original version. I'm Kellogg number 247. You know?
You know, if we wanted to go there, we could infer that he is, in fact, somebody who basically exists only on a brain tape.
Yeah.
Because how the fuck else does he virally infect Valentine?
Dude, the fact that they did nothing, why even have that happen? Yeah. If it was just going to be for nothing.
It's something going like, this would be a cool bit. Go with it. Do something. Be cooler than just that.
And they never do. They never, like, it's so frustrating that you can see good ideas in the mix, and then they just never do it. And I can't even say the same for Starfield, because the Super Chat mentioned space settings. Is Starfield not the single most generic sci-fi setting you've ever fucking seen?
It's also something that I would normally like or want to like. Okay, let me put something this way. My sci-fi interests go all the way back to at least Space 1999, which was pretty much centralized, especially when it came to the toys, around these cool little ships that were inspired by NASA. In other words, they were NASA punk.
I hate that word.
And shit.
It sounds like you cut out for a second.
Okay, I think I did because I'm seeing your... I'm seeing spinnies on your feed here as well, so it's probably on my end there. What I was saying is, like, Space 1999 had these modular spacecraft, the Eagles, the Eagle 1. And you see a lot of that in the spaceship building part of Starfield. Which, I mean, Starfield gets really stupid with how they have everything work. But there's the basic. This is a cool idea. I would love to see this, and it fits the quote unquote NASA punk idea that they wanted. But then they flop. Then they just like, no, let's not follow through. That'll take too much effort. And yes, it is cassette futurism. That is the correct term, because it is throwback to 1970s technology. Yes, I have seen Barbarella. I'm not going to talk about the bits of Barbarella because I could get in trouble, maybe.
Oh no, I have no idea what that is.
Barbarella was basically sci-fi softcore porn from back in the day.
Oh my god.
Doing everything short of actually getting naked and doing the nasty.
Yes.
Alright, I'm going to get this quest dialogue out of the way before we continue talking. And I want to grab that other super chat.
I've got another job for you, slightly off the record. You'll be going on a mission with Varanus Daunton. Yes, the Guildmaster's son. Yes, it's quite odd. Reynold, who I've bumped into several times, also very... You're to accompany him and make sure he succeeds. He needs some time in the field to get his confidence up, or he'll never become a good warrior. Velena coddles the boy too much. Doesn't want him in the line of fire. Suppose it's no surprise after Vitellis. Velena Daunton's eldest son. Good man. We lost him on a botched mission recently. You've probably seen the other wounded around. If you're smart, you'll steer clear of the subject around the Guildmaster. Perhaps you and I will have time to discuss it more later. His mother's been holding him back, protecting him. You'll go to Nonwell Cavern with him. Galtus Previa was lost there, and you're to find him. And not a word of this to the Guildmaster. Go find him. He'll be in the Daunton house, most likely. And bring him back in one piece.
Alright.
Time's wasting.
$5 from some shambler. Thank you. How much for you to apply for American citizenship? That's a big question. It's a huge decision to move to another country and literally leave everyone you know behind. I would need to find a place to live there first. Well, I mean, maybe not first, but that'll be an important step at some point. I would need to be able to afford whatever place I would move to, and the cost of moving there as well. It's not a question as simple as how much would you need to do thing, you know? And of course, the Mishchi super chat you already got about Barbarella. Two guys talking off
the $2.
Yes, thank you. Two guys talking off the top of their heads is doing better writing than Bethesda. That's the frustrating part about it. Like, I'm not a writer. I haven't written, like, actual fiction, really. It's just looking at what Bethesda has done and seeing, oh, wait, they did pretty much nothing with this concept. Here's ways that they could have improved it and made it more interesting, rather than doing nothing at all. Tree, here's 5,000 furry bucks. Now play Honey Pop on stream. If you want to pay me 5,000 US dollars to play Honey Pop, I will.
Yeah, the 5,000 furry bucks are for me to play it over on Twitch.
Oh my god.
I mean, they won't get rid of you for anything on Twitch anymore. Well, unless never mind, I'm not going there.
Greetings.
That's drama all its own.
Kritosis, don't you want to make your own games? You're kind of a writer. I mean, yeah, I'm working on world building and like stories for the games I want to make. But at the same time, I don't have anything actually published, you know? So I'm not a writer in that sense. Like, I very much, I guess, kind of believe that you shouldn't call yourself a thing unless you're actually, like, properly out there, you know? What little writing I've actually done, it's all been private. So I'm not a writer in the sense that, yeah, I publish, even, like, through independent means online, I'm not a writer, because I haven't published anything.
You're not a professional writer yet.
Yeah, I guess the best example I could use is, like, it's calling yourself a YouTuber, even though you don't make videos or streams at all. You have a YouTube channel. And
I play games and talk into a microphone.
yeah, and even then I would consider streamer a different category than, like, YouTuber, as in someone who makes videos, you know?
Mm.
It's like, that little distinction matters.
Okay, that distinction, let's see. Watching a bad movie and then yelling at the screen but not recording it for anybody's entertainment. There you go. There's the YouTuber bit.
Kree, you can't be any worse than ML. It's not a matter of confidence for me. Like, I'm relatively confident in my writing skills. I'm sure I could do better than ML. It's just, I don't actually have anything out there. I don't have anything complete, you know? $2 for Mischi, thank you. Others seen my favorite sci-fi movie, Soylent Green.
I think he means other. I think he means me.
Yeah, that's what I was going to...
Kelbeck.
Yes. And what I was going to say is I'm pretty sure Kelbeck has probably seen it.
Yes.
A mission? Well,
Best use of dump trucks in a film.
I'm sure we can do this. You say this came from Orion himself. Well, perhaps I should speak with Mother first.
Soylent Green is made of volunteers from lamb farms across the world.
But she's the guild master. Certainly she'd... No, you're right. If the order came from Orion, it's a valid...
And certainly not anybody you know.
We should be off immediately.
Focus on the story first and build the world around the story. Otherwise, you'll get stuck in the world building trap.
Since the accident. Let's go.
I don't know. I feel like world building is, like, if you're making a fantasy world or any kind of, like, RPG setting, having the world building fucking solid and nailed down is one of the most important things. Because you don't want to be generic fantasy slop, you know, kind of like what Bethesda does now. Where the world building is all over the place, it's a mess, and, like, the story establishes the rules as opposed to the world establishing the rules, you know?
Yeah, whenever I've done writing, my best writing has always been when there's an established continuity, and I know what the rules are, I know what's allowed, I know how things should flow or how they should fit into other things.
Yeah.
If you do it the opposite way and just start writing, I mean, that's a great way to get practice, and it's a great way to get comfortable with how you know, whatever style you want to develop. But at some point, you really do need to be setting rules and conditions for yourself.
Yeah. And that's yet another problem with Bethesda's writing, is they don't seem to set any rules for themselves.
Oh, on this topic, I suppose I should mention that some of my writing from back in the day... Oh, Minotaur, shit.
Yeah. I'm jumping around because I... Attack him, you idiot! I only have you for 30 seconds! Just conjuration sucks in this game.
No, my job here is just to be a meat shield and occasionally bop the guy. Okay, there you go. Somebody was talking about also with Robotech and wanted me to talk a bit about BattleTech. Well, this all happens to fit together now.
Oh boy.
Because there is now a Succession Wars technical readout in progress, which is based off of my writing for BattleTech back in the day. We are going with the Stub Universe thing that apparently CGL and Tops both consider my work to be. It's like, we're branching off. We have nothing to do with this stuff. Oh, you do know that the court said that you don't co-own my stuff either, right? So you have no control over it. So, yeah, a bunch of people, artists, writers, and a guy who self-publishes. We're already in the pre-production process of putting a technical readout based. It's going to have like 105 mechs in it, and they're all from the classic Succession Wars period of BattleTech, which is essentially where most of the bloodiest and nastiest fighting was done, i.e., nuclear, biological, chemical, all that happy horse shit.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's basically BattleTech with the leash off. And that's going to be our first product under the Red Action open source license. So basically, I'm making my rights available to the BattleTech community as open source license. And
Nice.
people are running with it. Oh, and Roy makes an appearance in the foreword for the TRO. Training commandant for basically saying this is the purpose of this. It is to train people for the Star League Defense Forces so that you understand what you're fighting before you have to look things up in a war book in the middle of combat. So yeah, we're moving forward. We're doing shit with this. It looks like it's gonna be fun.
Nice. Yeah, I hope that all works out well.
Me too. Oh, for the record, it's being crowdfunded, and they're looking to do 200 copies for the first run. So, who is this other person? I'm Calbeck. Hi, how you doing?
Yeah, I mentioned I was going to stream earlier, and he asked to join the call.
Yeah.
And I've had him on before, so it's like, yeah, he's good.
Keeps your goat from getting lonely.
I'm always lonely. That's my secret, Cap. I'm always lonely.
A Canadian goat with an Oreo cookie will forever go together like a classic combination. Yeah.
What?
Sorry, old jingle for Oreo cookies.
I don't mind Oreos, but they're not my, like, first choice in cookie.
Me either. I just like the jingle.
Although, you bringing them up, I kind of want some now, because it's been a while.
Keyman wants to know if there's anywhere that he can read my work. It sounds interesting. Well, for that, I don't think I can put a link in the chat.
You should be able to, you're a mod.
Oh, well, let me go ahead and give that a shot then.
Oreo milkshake, though? No. I've gotten, I like the, Smarties McFlurry from McDonald's, and sometimes they fuck it up and they give me Oreo instead, and it just, I don't like it. It's not good.
Okay, there's the archive for the classic BattleTech page where my stuff showed up. And the weird thing is that, well, there's a lot of weird shit involving this story. But the short of it is that they published it as part of the official timeline between 2001 and 2005. And sometime after Topps bought WizKids, they apparently realized that I had never signed my rights away. So they're like, wait. So we own BattleTech except for this bit. Fuck this guy. Oh shit. You done got cornered, son.
Yeah, I was trying to run to the objective because, the scaled leveling in this game kind of sucks ass. It sent us back to the first area. Bastard bitch!
Yeah, so the thing is that, they basically created a new timeline of, care to name what we should search for exactly? Is it just Calbeck? It would be Roy Calbeck. Roy's the first name. Mind you, that's not my real name. That's the name of the character. And it's the name of the character that appears in that story. Basically, is a version of the Eridani Light Horse history that was canon from 2001 to 2005 before Topps went, oh shit. They created they decided, okay, we're going to remove this from publication. Well, turns out that they didn't actually have the right to do that. So now there is a forked continuity in BattleTech. One of it goes in my direction, one of it goes in theirs. And people are not very happy with where Topps and Catalyst Game Labs took BattleTech after that point. Let's say they had a number of shark jumping moments.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Oh hey, you know that psychotic religious faction that nobody liked? Well, they had nukes and they destroyed the everything and most of the factions you like.
Wow, that sounds suspiciously like Fallout.
It kind of does have the same problem. Okay, I mean, BattleTech being a tabletop game that relies on doing things like selling source books, they for the longest time, they've been focused on, well, we want more mechs, because everybody is very popular with mechs. We love mechs. They're extremely popular. Mechs, they're the greatest. We just want more mechs. And to do that, though, they kept having to advance the timeline to justify, okay, more mechs are being created. Well, then the company bought out another company called Mage Knight. Mage Knight had created a new kind of gaming technology called clicks. And what it is like you would get a fig and it would have all the stats for the fig baked into the figurine.
I'm sorry,
And-
it's just really funny
Sorry.
to hear fig said casually like that when that's now word to get around saying the gamer word on YouTube.
Oh.
Hey, you're a giant fig.
Don't talk to me like that, figure.
Oh my god. No. Not that one! Not that
Figure.
one! No!
Figure. Not figget.
Yes, figget is... Oh my god.
So here I am boring the hell out of Creed. Here's one word, and we're off and running. What'd you call me? I called you a fig. Like, you deserve to be on a pedestal, on a tabletop.
Oh my god.
Representing a dragon or something. You fig.
These ogres
Just,
can't deal with my mage strats. Oh no!
Just imagine the stench in this enclosed space where you're frying ogres.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd probably be pretty rancid.
Rank!
Sorry for interrupting your thing, though.
No,
I
that's
just
fine, that's fine.
I heard it and I had to say something.
It was funny. It's worthwhile. Oh shit. So okay, yeah, it goes back to them acquiring this company to get gaming technology so that they could sell. This was back when collectible figurines were a huge thing. Like, doing randomized collections of shit. Okay, back during the collectible card game craze, remember?
Yeah.
Like, fucking everybody had one. BattleTech had one too. It didn't do very well. But they're like, hey, we could go ahead and do that with figurines now. Because each figurine would have its stats baked in, and as it took damage, you would, like, click down to the next level of what it's capable of, and so on. So it made playing BattleTech on tabletop a lot faster. If you had the right figures.
Oh boy.
In regular BattleTech, it's all done on paper. I mean, you still may have figures, but they're represented basically by character sheets individually. That's a lot of paperwork. But it also means that you can make, a fig doesn't have to represent the exact unit that you've got there. So you can be a lot more creative and free playing just with the paper version normally. With Clicks Tech, since it's baked into the figure, you really can't play a game unless you have the exact figures you want to use to fight with. So this caused a lot of people to burn themselves out trying to collect the right figs because they were randomized. It's like here's a box of Karita Strike Lance, and it's just got like randomized mechs for this one particular faction doing one particular thing. And oh look, it's not the mech that I actually want. It's the one that I have 19 of already.
Yeah.
So they kind of burned through the fandom doing that. Burned through the fandom's wallet. And but this ties into how it affected the lore, and this is what really fucked things up. This is what led to the reset everything using nukes bullshit. One of the mechs that they decided to do because it was really cool. Again, we got a rule of cool here.
Yeah.
They said here's a mech with a chainsaw. This is a forestry mech. Wait, what? Oh yeah, I mean it stands to reason that if you are in a universe where mechs are used for military purposes, that reasonably you should be able to use some for at least some limited industrial purposes. Like here's an aggro mech, and here's a forestry mech, and here's one for industrial loading and stuff like that. Okay, that makes sense. Why are you pressing them into combat? Well, a smart person would have said, well, this is what insurgents might use. But that's a very limited function. So no, instead we nuke the entirety of the inner sphere so that these become main combat units because everything else has been blown to shit. Because we want to sell more of these stupid little figs that people have a problem with otherwise.
Yeah, that sounds horrible. Like, I already don't like the trading card game system where it's like, yeah, just buy packs of bullshit until you get one of the rare cards that's actually good for using. Either that,
ultimately, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Either that or buy it from someone else who's selling it for like $500. I'm not a fan of that business model, and it sounds like it's 10 times worse when you're talking about tabletop figures, and like you're just buying a box of like, I don't know how many were in each pack, but like, let's say 5. Good guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, so 5 in a box, it's like, okay, but these are physical things that take up a lot more space than a flat piece of paper. So now you have all this bullshit gathering up in your house, in your room, and like 90% of it you have no interest in.
Yeah, I think part of their rationale was if people get something they don't like, they'll just trade with other members of the community for stuff they do like. But this ignores the fact that you could see how that would go even in Magic the Gathering, arguably the most successful collectible card game system, where almost nobody does that. If they do anything, they sell it to one another. Hey, I've got this card for sale. It's X rare, whatever. And of course, that kind of market never metastasized for BattleTech because it's, by comparison, relatively niche.
Yeah, the whole trading card game title just seems like a marketing thing to me.
It wasn't originally.
I mean, I'm sure it wasn't originally, but at this point, that's what it seems like, where it's like, yeah, it's not about actually trading, and it seems like a good idea gone wrong.
It became corporatized, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the corporation has to look at the bottom line. How can we maximize profit? Well, we got to maximize income. How do we do that? Well, fuck the whole collectible bit. We'll just, we'll create what amounts to more like, kind of like what happened with comic books back in the day. When you had companies realize that people were buying whole boxes of a single issue because someday I'll put my kid through college on this.
Yeah.
And so they just, okay, what about that particular issue made that sell so well? Let's just repeat that. Let's just get into this formulaic nonsense.
Yeah,
I've
heard that's part of what destroyed the comic book industry was the let's do variant covers. Let's sell the same comic book 10 times because we have 10 different covers.
Yeah,
And
I lived through all that.
yeah.
Oh, and the hologram covers. Ooh.
Oh boy.
I mean, just all this shit that they would do just because they wanted to ramp up the quote unquote collectability of it, only to find out later, you know, this would work on the people initially entering the fandom or whatever because they didn't realize nobody would buy it. My first experience to that was, you know, I'd been collecting comics as a young kid. And then I went to my first big comic convention, which was actually San Diego Comic-Con. I brought like shopping bags full of my old comic books because I'm like, these have got to be worth something now. And the guy just looks at this pile of fucking comics that are carried around in this bag. It's like they're not in folders. They're not in protective wrapping or with backing or anything. It's like, I'll give you $8 for the lot.
Fucking hell.
It's like, yeah, no, this is the best offer I was going to get there too. So just hundreds of comic books, $8.
Yeah, that's fucked. That sucks. I'm sorry, man.
Well, don't be sorry for me because everybody went through that. And
Yeah.
I shouldn't say
You know
everybody,
what?
but everybody who had in mind, like, I'm going to actually try and quote unquote turn in for a profit.
It's almost kind of like the classic GameStop thing of, I would like to trade in these 7 games. All right, that's $3 store credit.
Yeah.
In fact, I did that once a little over a decade ago. I remember when it was. It was after the World of Warcraft Pandaria expansion came out, because I bought that with the credit. I traded in like 10 games, and he was like, all right, 94 or something. I forget the exact number, but he's like 94. I'm like, 94 what? Because for a second there, it's like, I wish this was dollars, but it's probably cents. He's like, dollars. I'm like, oh my god. I was actually shocked that they were like, yeah, we're going to pay that much for these games you're trading in.
I want to get this one from Deus Volt. It's like $8. Wowee golly gee willikers, mister. How so very magnanimous of you. It's like it cost $50 to get into Comic-Con that year. I mean, I was literally looking at this like, if I don't take this offer, I don't eat today. And so speaking of which, Mishi, $2. Thank you. What if Todd Howard voted Buchanan in 1992? The reason that I took this one is I'm the political guy around here, so let me tell you.
Oh my god. I don't even know.
What is this ban notice?
Ban notice?
I'm joking. It's like, yeah, I'm going to get insta-banned for starting ranting about politics on this channel. I'm being too subtle.
No, I'm just retarded. I don't even know what party Buchanan. Like, I don't know much about politics, especially back then.
I don't think Buchanan was even running in '92. He might have been in the primary for the Republicans, but he got ruffle stomped. He was the guy who hijacked the Reform Party in 2000, which I could talk about because I was a national delegate to the National Convention, or I should say a delegate for Arizona to the National Convention in 2000. So I saw that whole shit show in person. The split convention and everything. Yeah, Perot was right, and actually Doge is doing some of the shit Perot was talking about. It only took until, decades after the fact. Here we are at 2025, goddamn, saying that feels weird. Because all my games is like Car Wars is now in the past.
Why the fuck is he naked?
I don't know, this is your game. What did you do?
Well, to be fair, he did get the shit beaten out of him by, like, ogres and trolls, and I was casting that big fireball.
Oh, this is your buddy.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't at first I thought he was a guard, and then I realized, oh, he's got a name.
Yeah, I think he just he got the shit beat out of him so bad by the NPCs and by my fireballs that his armor just melted off of him.
They kicked the shit out of him and stole his armor and then let him go.
It's you. Hi.
And then my tab crashed. But oh,
I bought a fine mare from him once. A fine, fine animal.
okay, tab open.
You're back. What have you found out about Galtus Pradia's disappearance?
Kree got them sexy mods installed. No, I don't.
He definitely doesn't, because the guy had underwear, okay?
What got him? Let me see that. Interesting. The symbols on it are familiar to me.
I love how every guy in that game is cut like diamonds. They better be! This is Tamriel, man. This is not a place for fatzos.
Nothing we need to talk about now. I'll pay Varanus for his...
Unless you're an orc, then I guess you can get away with it.
Who knows? I might be able to make soldiers out of you both.
That's actually one of the changes I liked about Fallout 4, was the fact that they had like a body type slider where you could be thin, muscular, fat, or average. It's like, yeah, that adds variety to the body types you could find in the game. Although, I'm not sure you should be able to get fat in the post-apocalypse.
Well, I mean, if you're going by that, then, I mean, Fallout 4, the guy comes from pre-apocalypse. Fat should be the standard.
Yeah, but...
Okay, I'll take that back, because America in pre-war has been going through economic problems for a while now, so being thin might actually be more common.
Yeah. It's the kind of thing you should see, like, very rarely, where it's, like, extremely wealthy people in Elder Scrolls, like, traders, lords, the rulers of towns, and stuff like that. And in the case of Fallout, I don't know. Like, again, you can have wealthy people in Fallout, there just has to be a good reason for it, which they never do. It always frustrates me that Tenpenny Tower is just a bunch of rich snobs who just exist as rich snobs. There's no reason for why any of them are rich. They just are. Don't think about it. That's the level of writing we're dealing with. It is so stupid.
There's the one guy who was a wasteland adventurer. You can say that he made his fortune out there, but that's it.
Yeah, that one is fair. Literally just him.
Like, one of them trades in the ideal in pre-war clothing. Who do you sell to? Basically nobody but what's in this building.
Yeah. Like, that's another thing. The merchants in that building are restricted to the people who live in that building and what few people they let in. Which isn't much. Like, even when you come up to the gate, you have to be like... You don't really have to convince him to let you in, but it's definitely not... like, good for business, I would say. Like, especially if you don't know what businesses are even there. Talking as, like, just a general person living in the wasteland, not the main character of Fallout 3.
If nothing else, they should be doing something along the lines of what Vault City was doing. Like, you have a courtyard right there. It's walled, so they can secure it. So, it's like, why not let some of the lower-class riffraff do their business out front?
Exactly. They should have a small town built around the tower where the people within the tower are running their businesses, whatever they may be. Gun manufacturing, food production, water purification, just, like, crafting items that'll be useful to people in this world.
Oh, hell, you could even have made... I mean, it wouldn't have been my cup of tea, but if you wanted to, you could do the class warfare thing right there. Because it's like, okay, these people are all being exploited, but they have nowhere better to go. And you could even tie the ghoul story into that. That's why. It's like the only place they're allowed to go is outside, so they're pissed off.
Yeah. Once again, there's so much you could do with the concept, and they did literally nothing. What's that? You have a tower full of rich people? Well, don't think about it, forehead. Whereas you could have just been like, yeah, you could have built an entire quest line around this location. I mean full-on quest line, like 8, 10, 12 quests long, dealing with the people in the town and in the tower, and like everything to do with the functions of the town and how everything works. And instead it's just like, no, don't think about it, they're rich. Why are they rich? I don't know. Ghouls
Not
want
only
in.
are they rich, they're bigots. So you get to kill bigots, or maybe you want to try and work things out, and then the bigots get killed anyway because other bigots.
It does kind of seem like, I know it wasn't as big in 2008 as it is now, but the whole fucking retarded commie, oh hey, rich people are evil, let's kill them thing. I saw it.
That goes back a lot further, but it
I-
wasn't as.
I know it goes
wasn't as
back.
prevalent.
I know it goes back a lot further, but it wasn't as prevalent in 2008 as it is in the past like 10 years. At least online. But did you see that clip the other day of someone making a shit-ass game? It's like, oh look, a room full of billionaires, and when you kill them, their money gets redistributed. It's like, God, this looks like the shittiest game ever.
I would
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Nope, go ahead.
I was gonna say I would want at minimum for them to explain how it gets redistributed. Oh, redistributing to me. Now I'm the billionaire. Look me in the eyes. I'm the billionaire now.
100 ARS from Draguo Dot. Thank you.
He's showing you his arse.
Oh no! I do not wish to see that. The Season 2 of the Fallout TV show should have been a continuation from Fallout 4, where Nate travels back to Canada to take the rake to the remaining leaves, trying to free the annexed country after the Great War. I don't think the country counts as annexed anymore when there isn't a USA anymore.
And we have various games where Canadian revolutionaries make an appearance.
We have?
Yeah. And with all the worst possible references, like saying A and discussing hockey and maple leaves.
Oh my god. You know how Fallout 4 has a character that sells baseball bats as a weapon? If Bethesda did a Fallout game that took place in Canada, you know they'd have a character selling hockey sticks with ice skates tied to the end to be a blade to be used as a weapon. Actually, you know what? Bethesda wouldn't do that because they're too lazy to do something that interesting, even though it's not interesting.
A baseball bat with ice skate blades embedded into it, like at 4 different points around it, that would actually be pretty close to a classic medieval weapon.
I meant a hockey stick, but yeah, the mace with like the little blades on it. Yeah,
that would actually be pretty useful, I think. So of course they're not going to do it. So I'm just googling this now. Fallout Canadian.
Oh, by the way, there is something I wanted to mention earlier. You brought up how
it's in Fallout Tactics.
Yeah, I haven't played
Canadian
that one.
Invasion.
But anyways, you mentioned earlier, I think it was BattleTech you said, where they had like lumber mechs and stuff like that being used in the war. And you know what that reminded me of? Fallout 76 has special brands of power armor that are for like mining and stuff. They're mining power armor suits. Yep. Hold on. Let me look this up quickly. Hold on.
I've forgotten about this. Yeah.
Fallout 76 power.
Yeah, we're in the middle of the
armor.
war. This is our top-end technology. Let's just go ahead and license it to various corporations.
Fallout 6.
It was enough of a stretch in like Fallout 4 for them to be saying, "Oh yeah, we're lending stuff to advertise with."
Yeah, especially like fully confirming XO1 as being pre-war. Like, fuck off.
Okay,
they're.
I was willing to accept the Vim suit, like because at that point it's like it's T-45 armor, so it's like this is the obsolete shit.
Yeah. Yeah, you could justify, like, a beat-up old suit being like, yeah, just clean it up a bit and paint it with, whatever. It's not gonna be too useful to us now. But XO1 in Nuka-Cola land? Fuck off.
Yeah, no, it made zero sense, especially them having it locked up and everything, which put a hard date on when it could be there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, this has never been open since it's been put in. So, in other words, the park was still running. People had to have actually seen it. Because Nuka World wasn't, there's dead bodies all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if there
People
weren't
were
guests
people
there,
saw it.
even if there weren't guests there were workers there, and the implication, from what I remember, is that the park was fully open and operational at the time of the bombs dropping. Anyways, Fallout 76 power armors, excavator power armor, let's see, Strangler heart power armor, I don't know what the fuck that is, Union power armor, Vulcan power armor. The fuck is this shit?
Yeah. It goes to Bethesda's tism about power armor, which somebody was pointing out.
Oh my god.
Well, I mean, what was that? I was listening to somebody recently about this, where they were pointing out that the BOS, they became the literal poster kids for Fallout under Bethesda.
Yeah, that's
But
one of the
they
things I've complained about.
Yeah, they themselves don't see the technology as anything other than we're going to hoard this for ourselves just to keep it away from you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, making technology itself into a collectible, sort of, it goes right to the ideology of Bethesda. We're doing this only because it's cool. We want to just grab all this shit.
Yeah.
We're not going to do anything useful with it. We're not going to rebuild anything with it. And I'm worried that, I mean, the BOS rose and fell. It's Fallout under Bethesda is still rising, but I think they're already planting the seeds of their own eventual dissolution.
I have no idea what to think on what they're going to do with the Brotherhood, because they're radically different each time to an absurd degree. Like, if you took all three versions of Bethesda's Brotherhood of Steel, not counting 76, just 3, 4 in the show, and you gave them entirely different names and, like, I guess symbology, it's like, yeah, I would absolutely believe these are totally different factions and not the same group in all three fucking things. Because they're clearly not the same group by the way they act and radically change each time.
I mean, I have to actually defend Fallout 3 on this point, in that it gave reasons why Lions Group was so different. Basically, they went native, and that is something that does happen.
It can and does happen. I don't think the justification is good enough, and I don't think they should be called the Brotherhood still. If they called themselves literally anything else, okay, you know what? Fine. But the fact that they're the Brotherhood, and then, like, the true Brotherhood faction in Fallout 3 are the Outcasts.
Exactly. I agree with that.
Completely fucked.
Yeah, the Outcasts should not be calling themselves the Outcasts. They should just say, look, we are the Brotherhood of Steel. Those guys are a splinter group. The real problem, of course, is that they are the far minority, so nobody listens to them.
And you could have done an interesting story with that too, but they just didn't. The Outcasts are basically there for Bethesda to be like, yeah, we know we're not doing what the Brotherhood are, but look, we acknowledged it.
Yeah, I mean, at least there is that much, though. Once you get to 4, it's just out the window. Maxon, taking any kind of scrutiny, examining him and how he changed the Brotherhood, how he got there, how, even his fucking apparent age. Like,
yeah,
none of this matches up.
He's 20 and he looks 35. It's like, what the fuck? And also,
age of man, not that
young. I remember the fucking Gary Stu piece of writing that, oh yes, all the elders on the West Coast voted unanimously for, Arthur Maxon. For Arthur Maxon to be the new leader, to be a new elder of the Brotherhood and to lead the East Coast chapter. He killed a super mutant in one-on-one combat at the age of 16. It's like, yeah, okay, sure, fine, whatever.
And the whole bit with Sarah Lyons, the way that they wrote Lyons probably basically out of existence so that they could justify what they wanted to do in 4. It becomes so strained by that point that you have oxhorn levels of credulity that it requires to keep going with it. And then by the time you get to 76, which flashes backwards, and then completely fucks up the time. How did you do this? We just talked by satellite. So we're like pen pals or something, and
it's
founded this whole thing off of being pen pals because we had some history together.
Yeah, they literally invented an original character. My OC is friends with a character from the thing from before, and that explains why they're there now. It's so stupid. It is like straight out of like bad fan fiction writing what they did there.
Actually, it's kind of like what they did with Super Mutants to get them onto the East Coast.
Oh my god.
It kind of is, where they're like, we have to acknowledge that at least in the writing, there are no super mutants on the East Coast. So how do they get there? We want them. Oh, we'll create this whole vault where they were being manufactured, basically, and then it got out of control.
It was a different strand of FEV, and that explains why they're not interesting as a group at all, because they just want to kill and eat everything and make more super mutants.
And then Fallout 4, we're literally growing them in vats and then teleporting them up top for no good reason except to fuck with people.
We have
the good guys don't fuck with people. Wait, what?
We have FEV for no reason in particular, and we have extreme like power problems, and the teleporter itself is listed as like a huge power consumption thing that we have to micromanage our power usage. But yeah, we're also making super mutants en masse and teleporting them to the surface.
I'm the kind of guy who does try to headcanon things so that they work, even if they're not explained in something. I am the guy who will go to bat for Bethesda on shit like this, not because I think they're great, but because it's like, I want to enjoy this. I need to figure out a way to enjoy this.
Yeah, I don't have that.
It's like, hi, we're MIT. We have no connections to the military, no connections to the Enclave, no connections to any source whatsoever, forgetting, not even BattleTech. How the fuck do we have FEV?
You know what? Going back to the discussion earlier of Nuka World having quantum power armor, there was a comment I was wanting to grab. The Quantum X01 is like giving Coca-Cola an F-35. No, it would be like giving Coca-Cola an F-35 before the first actual, like, usage of an F-35. That's how bad, like, 10 years before the first usage of an F-35.
Expressly to be put on public display in a giant glass rotunda where you can see it from every angle.
And it's a similar thing with the FEV. It's like, yes, this top secret military project. Yeah, it's just everywhere. Everywhere we have a game taking place, there's FEV there. Fallout 3, there's a vault. Fallout 4, they just have it for some reason. Fallout 76, they decided to poison the local fucking water well.
You know what? I just want one thing for the X01 power armor for that display there. I want you to be able to find a skeleton wearing a little fedora, and if you search his body, you find Chinese spy ID and a camera.
Yeah, one of those like micro cameras.
Yeah, because for fuck's sakes, it's like this is on public display. It's a tourist area. They expect people coming in from other nations. Hey. Well, I mean, seriously, we had that problem with Pearl Harbor, whereas Hawaii was very popular with Japanese tourists. So we had Japanese spies actually photographing where the ships were and all this other shit. So, hey, shout out to a historical thing that actually happened. If you're going to be this stupid, then let it happen. No. It's just, no big deal.
And again, that's what makes. Yeah. And again, that's what makes all of this so frustrating is, like, they could do this stuff in these games and make them more interesting, and they just never do. It's always the most bare bones basic shit every single time. And the few times they try to do something interesting, they fuck it up immensely. Like, oh god, it's so insane to me how shit their games are.
You know, I could have sworn that there was a quote-unquote Canadian invasion bit for Fallout 4, but it's washed out when I try and Google it. It's washed out by email talking about Nate being a Canadian executioner.
Could you do an advanced search to like preclude any events before any results from before 2024?
I actually have never done that.
I'm gonna get through this quest dialogue because we've been sitting here for quite a while talking.
Yes, I'm sorry.
I just don't want game dialogue to be going over like what we're talking about.
Some gaming is guaranteed.
Find Maglir again.
Yeah, at some point.
That's right. The little vermin has defaulted on another contract. I need you to go babysit him again. Wish I knew what happened. He had a contract for a local mage in Braville. Didn't seem like a particularly difficult assignment. He hasn't reported to the client at all. Get yourself down to Braville and find Maglir. Make sure that contract of his gets done, and send him to me. Stop staring at me. Let's get to it.
You've got some nimble fingers.
Stop looking at me!
Speaking of Bethesda's writing, I still can't get over that shitty fucking DLC in the fucking pirate faction, man.
Hello.
It is so fucking bad.
Ranaline.
Pirate faction? My brain is not clicking.
In Starfield, the
Oh!
Hmm?
Sorry, I thought we were still talking about Fallout, so my brain was still... You
No.
said pirate faction, my brain goes like to that Centralia, whatever the, or Libertarian, whatever the fuck that one place
Oh
was.
yeah, the big island?
Yeah.
God. See, that's another thing where it's like, this could have been interesting and you didn't do anything with it. It's just, people tried to settle here and then Meyer lurks. Okay.
Followed by jumping puzzle and shooty.
And you can't even, like, effectively use the island to build on, because they give you a massive space, but you still have, like, the same build limit as everywhere else. So it's like, yeah, I can only, like, do a little bit with this place. I can't use the entire area to do something interesting with.
Greetings.
Yeah, Libertalia, yeah.
You smell of death. Been conjuring up dead things?
Oh, look. You.
I suppose I have a moment.
Oh my god. Oblivion originated the line. Fallout 3 stole it from Oblivion. Maglir just said, "You again," to me. The origins of iconic lines.
What is it?
You again. I imagine
He
I
did it
know
again!
You're here, Guild Rat. Defaulted. That all you talk
He
about?
thinks you're pagan.
I'm Blackwood Company now. Plenty of work, the pay is good, and I don't have Orain on my back all the time. Look, I know that you covered for me before, so I'll give you this one. Talk to Ariari at the Mages Guild for the job. After this, we're done.
What's
You're
going
wasting
on with
your
you?
time.
I understand.
I'm
they
happy
say
with my
what
job.
you
That's why I
have
look angry and sound like it.
I don't get the character of Maglir. Because he's supposed to be this, like... He's this Fighters Guild guy, and he's not doing his job. You have to go, like, check in on him, help him with it, do it for him, whatever. It's like, okay, they're setting up a conflict here, this could be interesting, this could lead somewhere. Next time you see him, it's, he fucked up another job, and he's in another, faction that does the same exact thing as the Fighters Guild, except they use drugs to do so. It's like, is he really gonna be any more effective in this new guild than the Fighters Guild? Because it's not like he left because there's a lack of jobs. It seems like, oh, I didn't like the Fighters Guild because they expected me to do what I'm paid for.
You know, when you play Oblivion, it's actually a bit more fun for me because I never really got past Kvatch. It never pulled me in.
Funny thing you should say that. I haven't really done Kvatch yet in this save. I've done everything else pretty much. I think the plan was do the 4 guilds, and I'm on the last of the 4 now. I can't remember if I was going to do the main story, then the DLCs, or the DLCs, then finish off with the main story. But I've done all the Daedric quests except for the one I can't do until I'm so far through the main story, and I've done a bunch of side quests. Honestly, it's kind of crazy now that I think of it, that with all the locations in this game, you've only discovered, like, a small few of them through just, like, normal gameplay doing the factions. Because I'm pretty sure there's probably, like, double the icons on the map from what I have here. Hold on, let me do a little save.
Let's see.
Then... Hold on, why didn't that work? Why is that doing an exclamation mark?
Oh no.
What?
I heard, why is that doing an exclamation mark? I thought something broke.
Yeah, it was... I think shift was stuck or something. But anyways, here's what it looks like when all the map markers are revealed. I've got maybe less than half of that.
That's not too bad.
I don't know, I feel like you should have discovered more places playing the game than what I have, you know? Because it's just so barren without them. It's too bad you can't zoom out and see the full map. But, like, this area over here, north of Kvatch, I've got nothing over there. I've got one thing from a DLC. But I guess there's also just a lot of dungeons in this game that just exist with nothing to them. Like, no quests involved.
Let's see, I'm trying to remember my history with these games. I didn't get into Daggerfall because at the time I think I was playing like D&D Gold Box stuff. So I was a D&D guy, and Daggerfall was a little too weird and foreign to me. It just didn't hit for me. So I was just going, it looks interesting, but not my cup of. Then Morrowind comes out. I'm like, elves, bugs, dust, nah.
Wow, how dare.
Literally, that's what I judged it on. But I picked up Oblivion because I was like, oh, first person looks kind of D&D-ish. It's got more of the medieval feel to it. And, you know, but like I said, it really didn't grab me by the time I got to Kvatch, so I was just, you know, nope out.
Yeah.
To the point where I didn't even mod it. I'm not sure that the modding community was very far along in those days. Maybe if it had been, I would have tried something.
So I know Morrowind's modding was absolutely fucking huge back in the day. There were like 10 different sites to get mods from, not just the Nexus. Okay. And Oblivion modding would have taken off pretty early, but I don't know, like, necessarily how big it would have been. Because remember, it's also a PC-only thing back then, too.
Yeah.
Thanks for asking.
Alright, doing, oh wait, that's not the quest NPC.
Yeah, so I think the first Bethesda game that I actually enjoyed would have been Fallout 3, which I liked I tell people, I like the exploration aspect, I like the first person, I like the shooting for the most part. I like the feeling of scavenging and uncovering things and discovering shit. That said, I can see all kinds of flaws with it, and the ending definitely pissed me off the first time. It's like, you get in there! So please, where do I find the option? Put gun to Fox head.
And again, it just speaks to ML's writing quality of, yes, let's give the player 2 companions immune to radiation, one of which is healed by radiation, and have them both deny you turning on the purifier because you need to do it. And like, that's the thing,
I thought Broken Steel actually fixed that to an extent, because you can get...
It does.
You know, because you can get Lions to go in there, and then she's sick in bed for weeks and pissed at you. It's like, oh, that tracks.
I think you could still get her... yeah, you could still get her to do it in the base game. No, and that was the next point I was actually going to go on there, is why even have the radiation immune companions say no when you have the option of sending her in as it is? And I know they're trying to make it into this big choice of, will you sacrifice yourself for the greater good, or will you selfishly make someone else do it? It's like, motherfucker, why would you give me companions that can do it if you're gonna, like, just force me? Like, it is insane.
Actually, let me check that, because I could swear the first time I played through, there was no such option. It was literally, we are railroading you, and we do not want you to have the option to do anything other than kill yourself.
I am 90% sure it's in the base game, because they have special end slides with narration saying that rather than sacrificing yourself, you set someone else to do it. Like, trying to shame you for it, right? And with Broken Steel, they didn't get Ron Perlman back to do a proper, like, end slide for the companions going in to do it. The game still shames you for sending someone else to do it. They just remove the parts referring to Sarah Lyons.
Okay, yeah, there it is. If the player tells Sarah Lyons to activate the purifier, she accepts the duty, enters the code herself, and is killed by the resulting blast.
Yeah.
While the player is knocked out. That choice persists in Broken Steel. No, it doesn't, because in Broken Steel, she comes back and she's alive. I know, because she bitches at you that she's been in hospital the whole time.
But anyways, yeah, it
also,
speaks...
she gets killed later, so... I mean, she gets killed in the Fallout 4 lore, because dumb shit.
Yeah. But anyways, it's one of the most frustrating pieces of writing, because it didn't have to be this way. If you wanted there to be the sacrifice aspect to it, or making someone else sacrifice themselves instead of you doing it, why would you ever give the player radiation immune companions, and then have the ghoul who's healed by radiation act like he's in danger for going in there when it wouldn't hurt him at all. It would heal him, if anything. And then this radiation immune super mutant to be like, no, friend, it is your destiny to go in there and die horribly for no reason, when I previously went into a highly irradiated area earlier to prevent you from doing so, because it won't hurt me.
It is destiny. Fuck your destiny. Get in there.
Yeah, like, what do you mean? Like, that's the kind of thing where you just stop and be like, what the fuck do you mean it's my destiny to die in there? I don't want to die. I want to continue. What do you mean?
Also, at no other point in the game does he talk like that. He's not like...
Yeah, he's not...
He's not presented as being a psychic or a soothsayer or anything. He's just a guy.
Yeah, he's not religious. He's not like a mystic or anything. It's literally just he's a friendly super mutant, and he's like, no, it is your destiny to die. Your destiny culminates here, friend. What do you mean?
God, I'm trying to remember the name of the mystic psychic from Fallout 2.
Hakunen.
Yeah. Suddenly he becomes Hakunen.
And again,
if he had started talking, and then the screen goes blank and Hakunen fades in and starts talking to the end of the line, I'd have been more down with it.
Um,
You should follow your destiny now.
but again, it comes back to Bethesda having this, like, oh, hey, here's this neat idea, and then doing something really stupid with it. Because remember, Fallout 3 starts with the narration, it was here you were born, it's here you will die, referring to Vault 101 because no one ever enters and no one ever leaves. But then you learn the context through the story, oh wait, you were born at Project Purity, and then the story ends there when you turn on the purifier and die. It's like, yes, the intro narration prophecy came true, even though that's not the role of the intro narrator. It's like, okay, you could have done something interesting with it, but again, you did it in the most stupid way possible.
I have actually never made that connection.
That one took me a while too, but yeah, you can actually find the room you were born in with like all the equipment in there still, obviously in different places. Like they're pushed to the side and stuff. They didn't use the exact same layout. Credit where it's due for Bethesda. Modern Bethesda would have all the equipment still there 20 years later in the exact same position as the birth scene. But
I do gotta say that at the time when it was out and new, I thought, okay, and for its various flaws, this is their first outing, and for a first outing, this is pretty darn good. So I expect better. Then New Vegas came out. I was like, ooh, upward trend.
yeah,
This is such an improvement. I was like, all right, they're nailing it. This is good. Then Fallout 4. No! And I still enjoyed Fallout 4 because it had those basic beats, and I mean, I can drown myself in just wandering around finding shit and shooting shit. Okay, fine. But the story, oh my god. Are you really just reversing it so that the kid goes, older guy goes to find dad, and it turns out dad is older than him anyways?
100 ARS from Jaguo Dot. Thank you. Virgin New Vegas. You have to choose between a bunch of incompetents to rule a giant piece of sand. Chad Fallout 3. You should kill yourself to give people purified water now!
Basically. And it doesn't even do that. I mean, God, I still remember one of the things that pissed me off at the time. Is like, okay, they set up the water purification thing. What's it doing? Dumping the purified water directly into the ocean. It's at the end of the river, directly on the outlet into the ocean. It's just like, here you go. Fish get all that fresh water. I don't know, maybe eventually over a few thousand years you'll actually purify the oceans that way. But motherfucker, what's the point of this?
Dude, it is the funniest shit. I actually had to...
Also, there is not that much flow that actually comes down the damn river. So much of the river further up is dried.
Yeah.
Where's all this water coming from? It's just one of those things where you see it, and if you think about it for a second, you go, oh, hold up. You do the Fallout Boy gif of hold up.
Also, one sec, I'm going to do quest dialogue again, but I've got another thing to say on the fucking purifier.
About time someone from the Fighters Guild showed up. I've got work for you to do. I need imp gall for my research. I need imp gall for my studies. 10 portions of it, in fact. Since I hired the Fighters Guild, I expect you to get it done. And carefully, please. You might check Robbers Glen Cave for the imp gall. That place has been known to contain the imps.
Alrighty. So this is stuff that I brought up in, I think, all my Fallout 3 videos, but, how's exploding a computer terminal? Almost a Terminator. How's exploding a computer terminal in a water purifier fucking release radiation so deadly that it'll kill you within seconds?
That's what I remember somebody describing the way SFX are done as Star Trek logic. It's like, same reason as like, why do the consoles on the original Star Trek show blow up whenever the ship gets hit? Well, because that's to let people know something bad happened.
Yeah, but at least that you could justify, like, the damage that they took from those shots caused damage to the ship and caused that particular area to fucking explode.
Okay, if you wanted me to actually give a reason for it, I can. A massive burst of energy will include energized particles, including gamma, which can and will super energize circuitry within electronic devices, causing them to overheat, and if in close proximity with a lot of radiation, potentially explode. But that would also mean the source of radiation is very close and very intense.
Yeah,
that's... why? Where the fuck is the radiation coming from? It would have to be coming from the water and a failure of the filter causing a leak.
But that's the thing, they don't even have the filter in yet because it's not working yet. So, like, that's the whole thing. Where does it come from?
Yeah, the only source is the water unless there's a reactor that's exploding. And if the reactor is breaching or something, then you're not getting power to do any of this. It would be the only instance in the entire Fallout universe where breaching a reactor allowed it to keep providing power. And actually, the West can't be sustained at the same time as the East. Come back later. Lone Wanderer convincing Eden, you're a dumb computer. Please explode.
Yeah, God, it's so dumb. Yeah, you could use circular logic to, like, fuck him up immediately, pretty much. Or you could just be like, no, what you're doing is wrong. You need to die. He's like, you know what? You are right. I will destroy myself and this base when you leave with the FEV to go poison the water still. Like, it is stupid upon stupid. I will destroy the last remaining pure humans that I'm aware of existing. And it's my whole plan to keep these people alive to rebuild humanity. Well, also, I'm gonna poison the water so all the mutated people, including yourself, all die. So our purified humans can be the only ones left to rebuild. So you're wiping out both groups of humanity that still exist.
Well, you see, this goes to my headcanon theory in which the Enclave actually has a major Canadian base.
Nope.
It's where the actual population and industrial base is, because otherwise we only see their soldiers and scientists.
No headcanon. I don't do that.
It's implied.
How well?
It has to be okay. That once again, this is me having to write for the fucking, for the studio.
Just to make clear, before you do that, my whole process is you don't do writing for the writers. Like, that's just bounced from the conversation entirely.
I mean, that's why I said all that in a sarcastic tone.
Yeah.
At least I was trying for the villain voice. I don't know if it translated over the way.
No, it did. I just had to make clear for
Yeah.
everyone, including the audience, obviously. That
I will do that for purposes of my own ability to enjoy something, but I can understand from a critical point of view, you don't do that.
Yeah.
If I'm going to use it as part of a critique at all, it is just to say, it is just to have to point out how much I have to fill in to make any of this work. And that is a problem I have with a lot of people who call themselves critics. They will do that all the time. They will install their own fucking headcanon and say, this is official.
Yeah,
it has to be, because it's the only thing that'll fit, so I'm going with that. It's like, no.
Yeah, that's one of the most frustrating things for me, because you're watching a video of someone, like, talking about a thing, and the thing that they're trying to explain away the problem doesn't actually exist. So it's like, what the fuck? You're literally just making shit up. It is so fucking frustrating. And
well, it's a bit like learning a language. You can't just make up words on the fly to communicate.
Yeah.
If you're gonna have a discussion about, okay, X thing happens in media, like this particular movie, this particular book, this particular game. X thing happens, it doesn't make sense in context to this, this, and this, and guy goes, Flibbernitz. What? Well, Flippernets, that explains it. Why? Well, because it makes sense to me. Yeah, but not to me. So
Yeah.
this is not something that actually works as a point of critique. Because everybody has to understand, or not.
Yeah.
Or it's well, you run into problems like you do with Oxhorn, where Oxhorn will just happily install his own mistakes, errors, personal views as though they were a legit part of what's going on. And the thing is, I actually liked Oxhorn for the longest time just because he had an interesting demeanor, he has a good presentation, and a lot of the stuff that he would cover I hadn't seen before or thought about. But when he starts trying to talk about the games and glaze this faction or that faction and explain what's really going on, it's like, yeah, no. South Park Wookiee argument fixes all lore problems. Thank you, Nixon's appendix. That was a perfect way of putting it.
But yeah, there's so many examples you could point to of just like how fucking unbelievably shit the writing is. And that's kind of actually what I was bringing up earlier. I still can't get over how bad Starfield's DLC and fucking Pirate Faction are. Because how much do you remember about the Pirate Faction, Galbeck?
The Crimson Retards?
Yeah, the Crimson Cringe.
Well, I basically only from watching your stuff because
Yeah.
like hell I'm going to pay anything for that. And
Oh yeah,
I've tried watching some playthroughs only to just. I don't fall asleep very often when engaging with something.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Is from my streams, not that I thought you actually paid for it and played it yourself.
No. And I watch your stream, so I'm familiar enough with how damn shallow it all is.
And also
ridiculous. It doesn't make sense in context.
Yeah. It again, there's so many great examples of just bad nonsense writing that it's getting hard to comprehend. Why
are you cooking beef?
Because I am hungry. I feel like steak.
Poor Minotaur.
Look.
Let me out of here! Ah! Sorry, I had to comment on that.
Look at him.
I mean, seriously, it's just like, let me out of here, please. Oh, God. I'm burning.
And you will continue to burn. Yeah, there's
please, for the love of all in Oblivion.
There's so many examples of bad writing, it's almost hard to comprehend. Like, the pirate faction, the whole point is to get this, like, load of treasure. And the currency is digital. They're credits, right? They're stored on, like...
Yeah.
Essentially what looks like USB sticks. And the treasure... The lost pirate treasure is trapped in an ion storm, which fries electronics. And that's why that ship got lost in there, is because all the electronics got fried, so they couldn't fly out of there, because all the systems were dead. But the massive fucking warehouse room of computer banks holding all the digital currency, no, those were still active and running. All of those credits were still there. And then you download them onto a USB, or onto, like, a datapad or disk or whatever. And, first of all you needed all these computer banks to hold it, but you could just download it onto a datapad? Okay. Fallout 4 did the same thing. Yes, we downloaded all the Institute's data from one fucking computer terminal onto a holodisk. It's so dumb. But anyways, the very moment you pick up those credits from the ship that somehow survived getting fried in the ion storm, the ship starts to fall apart fucking immediately. It's like, wow, it's a good thing that didn't happen in the previous 100 years this ship was stranded here. I guess it's really lucky the ship waited to fall apart until after I got all the money from it.
I'm actually rubbing my forehead listening to you re-describe this because I had forgotten
How fucking dumb
entirely.
it was.
Yes, that. As you were describing, I was remembering. Oh, right.
I heard you like kind of grunt in pain when I described the computers, the Iron Storm frying the ship, but not the credit banks.
To me, this is a missed story opportunity. It's like, okay, how about you're searching for this legendary lost treasure ship, and you find it, and you get in there, and you make your way to the treasury room where you're expecting like rare ores and shit like that, or expensive technology, mechanical tech that would have survived, and you get there, and it's all these burned out USB sticks.
Yeah.
Wah, wah.
It would kind of be cliche, but you could have done the real treasure was the friendship we made along the way type thing.
Yes, you could have.
Because you get there to find out.
Better writing.
Honestly, it's stupid that they even still go after the treasure when it's like it's trapped in an ion storm. It's fucking dead, Jim.
If they knew that it was all on USB sticks, then yes. If really that was an opportunity, like I said, it's like the rumors or whatnot could have built up around this thing. Like, we know that it's a lost treasure ship. We don't know what it had, so people are talking about it in terms of all this, all this hard currency or bullion or stuff.
That's the thing. I think the game makes it clear that it is credits, like explicitly.
From the get-go.
I'm pretty sure. I have to play through the entire thing again to get footage for the analysis and write out the script properly, so I'll be able to find out when I do that. But I'm like 90% sure it's explicitly credits, because the ship that you're going after, it's a ship from the bank, I believe. It's basically their armored car. And it's hijacked by the pirate because they know it has a massive payload of credits on it.
Yeah, if they had done something more like Goonies, where there's just all these weird ass traps, and you can lead into it with explanations for why, and when you actually get there, there's like an actual mountain of gold and silver. You can even have somebody bitch at some point. It's like, silver? Nobody's used silver for anything in decades. What the hell? This is worthless.
Yeah.
Yeah, something. It's like, oh, we're only gonna get pennies on the credit for this or whatever. But it's just literally they just go with USB sticks. My God, how fucking lazy.
Well, it's not even it's not USB sticks. There is like it's hard to describe. It's like warehouse shelves full of computer banks, active computer banks running, that have the credits.
On this derelict 100-year-old ship that's in the middle of an ion storm.
Yes.
Which was expressly abandoned because all the electrical.
Oh no,
fried.
It's not abandoned. Everyone in the ship is still there. They're dead because they couldn't get out of the ion storm. There's like crew logs about how they were trapped there and died, and there's a log from the famous pirate who founded the Crimson Cringe and has a fucking system named after him, of how he was betrayed and stranded there because his partner in crime wanted to take leadership of the pirate faction.
Okay. And of course, all those records survived as well on electronic media, right?
Yep, it's a data pad. In fact, it's an audio log you listen to.
Robust Delirium is like, mountain of gold and silver, looks at personal planet outpost full of gold and silver. So, why would I want this?
And then there's the DLC. I don't know how much of those streams you saw. I'm going to do the quest dialogue quickly.
I watched most of that. That was, oh my god.
I just want to do the dialogue quickly, because I want to explain it for chat, too, for anyone in chat who hasn't heard it yet.
You've got it. Looks fresh, too. I realize you'll be paid by your superior, but take this as well. It might come in handy in your work.
Alrighty. The finale of the DLC is one of the most insanely stupid pieces of writing I've ever seen, which is actually kind of saying a lot. It's weird writing the review for the DLC, because it's like I'm not mad anymore about how bad the writing is. I've come to expect this. This is just it's not even uniquely bad or like surprising or shocking. It's just, yep, this is what Bethesda is. So whole DLC, you're dealing with the snake cult. You're forced to join the stupid snake cult, and you have to fight the vortex phantoms, which are like ghostly versions of people. It's hard to describe what they're intended to be, but you find out through the quest line that, oh, they're people who are essentially meant to be immortal, so they could fight forever, and that's what the leader of the snake cult was doing when they fucked up and destroyed half their city.
Isn't this what Emil wanted to do with Salem in Fallout 4?
I don't...
He wanted to actually do ghost and shit, but they had gotten rid of the magic system.
Not ghosts. They were thinking of witches. They were going to add a witches coven there because Salem, the Salem witch trials. So we're going to put witches there with actual magic, but we couldn't do it because they already tore out Skyrim's magic system. God, that was fucking dumb.
So he went ahead and did it with Starfield.
They don't...
More or less.
I mean, you have Dragonborn shouts for your Starborn character. But
yeah,
anyway...
But what's the whole thing with this vortex thing? That's not related to Starborn stuff.
No, it's not explicitly, like, magic either. Well, it kind of... It moves into science magic.
Phenomenon.
Yeah. It's essentially science magic shit.
In sci-fi, if you want magic, you say psychic phenomenon.
But anyways, the whole point of most of the quest line is to unlock this tower where the experiment was taking place. And once inside and you get to the bottom and you finally meet with the leader of the faction, he's like, yes, we're going to go on our holy war across the cosmos with the vortex phantoms as our army because they can't be killed, blah, 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 blah. And then he's like, oh no, the tower is under attack by the zealot fraction group of the snake cult. We need to stop them. Get to the top of the tower quickly. So you run up there and he's like, yes, I can activate this machine that will kill all of them, but it'll kill you too. And if you say yes, if you agree to this, your character just immediately kneels down, then the game reloads. So, great fucking choice, Bethesda. But it's the fact that this guy can teleport and essentially kills you for no reason. Because he can activate
Wait. So your actual decision would be a game over, but they don't want it to be a game over, so they just auto-reload?
The game appears to auto-reload whenever you die anyways. But because it's set up that way, it makes it extra funny that your character kneels down and the screen goes white as you die, and then you get thrown immediately into a loading screen, and then you automatically reload your last save, which is probably the autosave when you're coming off the elevator.
No, that would have been the perfect opportunity. It's like, okay, this is quote bad ending. We're going to go ahead and do a quick slideshow. Here's what happens as a result of your actions.
Exactly.
Instead, we wanted to keep you playing, so we'll just reload the game for you.
Trust me, that's going in the review and the analysis. But, because the leader is now Vortex Phantom himself, he can just teleport to the top. In fact, that's exactly what he does. So when the tower's under attack, he doesn't tell you to leave now, I'll activate the machine. He's like, no, go to the top of the tower so we can activate the machine. He doesn't need you there. He activates it himself if you say yes. And for some reason, if you say no, he won't activate it immediately and kill you. He'll fight you and call more Vortex Phantoms in to fight you as you destroy his machine.
I just have to wonder what was going on in the writers' room when they were hashing all this out.
I feel like they gave
Okay,
up.
so what happens if the player says no? Well, we got to have an epic fight scene. Why though? Well, we just do. It's
Oh, it's more than just a fight scene. It's a big bombastic explosion as the machine starts falling apart. Parts of the tower's floors start phasing in and out of reality as you fall back down to the bottom and run through the facility as it's blowing up. And then you get outside just in time to turn around and see the entire thing explode.
yeah. Nixon's appendix just hit it. It's like fucking up the Dead Money DLC and accidentally dooming the world, and then you actually get the full cutscene of what happens.
Yeah.
The dust ending. Yeah, it's not like this hasn't been done before in a game that they've published.
Yeah.
But no.
It genuinely feels like they gave up.
Dead Money, but picking up the gold bars automatically reloads your game back to the last save. God, if they had done that.
It's so fucking bad, man.
What is it? Shouldn't you be taking care of Maglier's contract? I can't believe we lost another to that bunch. Well done taking care of the contract, though. We can't afford to lose any of them these days. Here's your payment for completion of the contract. I think it's time for us to discuss the Blackwood Company a bit.
Okay, so here's another problem I'm having with the Fighters Guild in Oblivion. They're building up this conflict with the Blackwood Company, but it doesn't feel like it actually exists. What the hell is that? Oh, I just got raided. Hello. I hope you're all doing well.
White text on white background is what I got. I have to like.
Yes, Yeah, I had to like lean in to be able to read that. Let me highlight that. No, it went away, bastard bitch. But yeah, I got.
Hi.
Yeah, that's who I got raided by, Amalgamite. Hello, I hope you're doing well. Thank you for the raid. It's much appreciated. I really need to do raiding more often. I always forget every time I end a stream.
Raid courtesy of Amalgamite.
But anyways, yeah,
You violated the law.
anyways, it's kind of annoying me how shallow this conflict is feeling, because like they're really trying to build it up. It's the main conflict of the Fighters Guild. It's like, yeah, they're doing some stuff here where it's like a lot of the quests are relating to it, but you're not seeing the background world building for it. But he even said earlier, oh yeah, some of our guys were injured in the last conflict we had with them. You might have seen some of them around. It's like, I literally haven't. What do you mean? Because they don't have like armor or clothing pieces to show someone being injured in this game, so they literally are just unable to show that people are hurt. So no, I can't.
How many of the Fighters Guild missions are you doing fetch quests for wizards?
At least 2 so far, maybe 3.
Okay, that's not as bad as I was thinking. I was like, so you went through the Mages Guild, you had to do a bunch of errands for wizards. Now you're in the Fighters Guild doing errands for wizards.
Yeah, there was 2. There was one where some guys in Leyawind from the Fighters Guild were upset that they couldn't get a job, or they weren't getting any contracts because the Blackwood Company kept stealing them all. So you look around and, oh hey, there's a mage from the Mages Guild that needs stuff, but you have to collect stuff for her first before she'll give the contract to the others. So it's like, okay, you do that. And then there's this one where he defaulted on a contract again. It's just another like boring fetch quest instead of trying to do something interesting with it.
Learn to summon.
To be fair, I could see a wizard hiring mercenaries. Yes, I could too, but these are like... They should be the lower level quests of the guild. Or... Well, I guess it makes sense to have like higher tier quests where you're dealing with stronger enemies, but still, I don't know. I'll think on it a bit more, I guess.
So
There's a
I'm
lot.
just wondering, if you join the Thieves Guild, do they have you stealing from wizards?
Yes, actually.
Well, there you go. Everything just revolves around magic in this game. Learn to summon. That's where all
And
the real money is.
in the Dark Brotherhood, you have quests to kill a couple wizards, but not from the Mages Guild.
They weren't always a threat. Small-scale mercenary band, until Riza Kar took over. Then came the fat Imperial contracts. After a mission in Blackmarsh, they set up shop in Leowin, more ruthless than ever. It needs investigating. First, though, you need advancement. Your service to the guild has not gone unnoticed. Henceforth, you will carry the rank of Defender. Bear the title proudly. I've got something for you, but we're not going to talk about it here. I want you to meet me at my house after sundown. We'll talk more then.
Oh no!
Later.
He's inviting me back to his house after dark.
How do you think half-orcs get made?
But I'm not an orc!
An old beggar.
What is it?
Do you ever do any shopping at Northern Coast?
I'm sorry, wasn't he?
No, he's a dark elf.
Oh, I thought it was green skin. Maybe it's just my monitor. Then again, I mean, some of the graphics in this, like the lady who hired you to go get the imp gall had like resting smirk face.
So what color is this character? My character on screen.
Blue, green, teal.
That's more of a light
With
blue than a teal.
With a yellowish background that looks like somebody pissed on the screen.
That's just the background.
Okay, fair enough. It's all feeling very anti-Eltmeric. And one other zinger from Autumn Harvester. Dead Money teaches you that stealth boys are useful.
Ah.
I cannot remember any other part of Fallout New Vegas where I was using stealth boys regularly at all.
I don't normally use them anyways because I think you could get addicted to them, and I don't use things your character could get addicted to because I don't like dealing with the consequences.
Why am I carrying 10 packs of Fixer in my bags?
Yeah, exactly. I don't like having to do stuff like that, so I just don't engage with it. Like,
Let's talk.
that's just...
I would rather that Fixer not be in the game and that you have to go through like withdrawal symptoms or something.
Yeah. No, I get it. But, like, my take on it is mainly I could play the game without them, so I'm not going to use them.
Mm-hmm. That's just playstyle. That's fine.
Yeah.
Good, you're here. We've got duties to attend to. I've been looking into them, heard some disturbing things. We know they're a danger to us, and we know they're good at what they do.
Okay, here's another problem then. The Blackwood Company is effective, and they're good at what they do. But then, when you infiltrate them later on and do a job, you slaughter a town. There might be an explanation for that they didn't, like, they found you out that I don't remember. But, I don't know.
Good question.
Game has cigarettes,
I've
but
heard
doesn't let you
stories,
smoke
but
them. What the
none
hell
I
is this
can
woke
prove
garbage?
True. Maybe they've got a mage working with them. Maybe they're just well trained. All I know for sure is that they'll accept any contract, and they'll do anything to complete it. And they don't care who gets in the way. Velena's gotten tentative since the Blackheart mission. She's worried about getting us killed. But we're just getting killed a little bit at a time. That mission was the start of it. That was when Vitelis was killed. We were contracted by a wizard, Argoth, to recover an artifact from Blackheart. I went in there with 20 men. I left with 5. Vitellis wasn't one of them. He died covering our retreat. I snooped around. Apparently, they completed that contract for us. I went in there with 20 good men. I can't believe that bunch finished the job. There's more. Argoth, he's dead. The artifact gone. Sounds like a setup. Maybe they made a deal with Blackheart. I don't know. But I'll find out. Now we find out what really happened. And we let it be known. I want to show the people who the Blackwood Company really are. I can't order you to do this with me. It's dangerous, and Velena isn't going to know about it. It's your choice. We leave as soon as you're ready. I want to investigate Blackheart's stronghold in Arpenia. Meet me at the Leowen Guild Hall. We'll go from there.
I keep stealth boys because I might need them later. I never need them later. Yeah, they're the one item I do keep in case, like, I want to use them, but I don't usually use them.
Oh, and sorry about stepping on that bit of dialogue there. I've got
That's fine.
lag on this end, so it looked like it was still, in between.
Yeah, it's fine.
We need to find out what happened. Let's go.
I think I mentioned this in my last stream, I can't remember, but in Patrician's video, he did a good job pointing out how, like, it's insane how much running around the Fighters Guild has you doing in particular. Where it's like, okay, here's a quest in Coral, and then you have to run all the way down to Leowen, and you have to run up to Shadenhall, then you have to run over to Coral, and then you have to run down to Leowen. It's like, Jesus Christ. Why is there so much, like, cross-country questing in the Fighters Guild?
In the Fighters Guild, every day is leg day.
Because, like, shouldn't the quests be localized in, like, the general area where you're getting them from? Like, as effectively as possible? Even Morrowind, right? The Fighters Guild, and, like, even the Mages Guild and stuff, they would send you out into the fucking wilderness to, like, find a cave or a fort or something to, like, do a quest in. And it's like, yeah, but what else is nearby? It's like, a lot of parts of Morrowind are really remote, so, you know, it makes sense to get a quest from Balmora that sends you off into the middle of nowhere, where there isn't a guild location nearby.
Kind of feels like the Fighters Guild only has one HQ, so everything from all across, from everywhere goes to one spot. So it's like, oh yeah, we got something way over here, way over here, way over here.
Yeah, that's part of what's frustrating about it. Leowen, Breville, Skingrad, and Bruma all have Fighters Guild locations, but I don't think any of them have quests.
That's dumb.
You're supposed to start in either Anvil or Shadenhall, and you get a couple of quests there from each of them. I think it's like 3 or 4 quests from each of them. But Coral is the main, like, Fighters Guild HQ that a lot of the big story stuff takes place. Like, I don't think we go to Shadenhall or Anvil ever again.
You know, that does make it sound like the other guilds actually do forward their stuff to Coral. It's like, oh, we got a request. Send a messenger to Coral with it. Why does everybody have to go to Coral and then come back? Yeah.
So, 2 things. First of all, why isn't there a Fighters Guild in the Imperial City? Because it's central to, like, the entire place. But also, why would you need, like, if you get a contract in Shadenhall to go, like, Desolate Mine right here. I'm pretty sure I had a quest in Shadenhall that sent me to Desolate Mine. At least that's localized, right? But some of these contracts are like, yeah, we need you here to go all the way down here. And someone in chat says, because fast travel infects game design. That's what it feels like.
I mean, if I were talking about it from a designer perspective, especially a designer who wasn't thinking about why it wouldn't make any sense, I want the player not to fast travel and to walk around and see this world that I built. Which is the equivalent of putting a collar on the character and dragging them around the map.
Yeah. How long does it take to walk from Coral to Leowin with 90 speed? I guess we're gonna find out.
Boogity, boogity.
There was a bit to fast travel, but like just checking realistically, like the time it would take. So it is 12:15 a.m. right now, as I'm leaving Coral. And what's the most effective way down? Just following the road. Or you know what? Let's just beeline it. Because a lot of players will probably beeline it. Although that...
Through the wilderness, screw anything in my way.
Yep.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Ah. And that's the thing, too, is I've talked about before, I don't even mind fast travel existing in games. I just prefer, vastly prefer if it's done like Morrowind, where, like, it's a part of the world. It's local travel services. It's the Mage Guild teleporting you to other Mage Guild. It's boats and ships that take you to different port cities. It's a in Morrowind in particular, the Silt Strider walking down the road, taking you to different cities, or even Skyrim with their carts, even though like they play an insanely small role in Skyrim.
And are broken as hell.
Yeah.
Actually, that's one complaint I have about New Vegas for the explanation for how fast travel works. That you're literally just going into sort of a mental fugue and wandering while not thinking about it. It's a state of mind, and somehow it allows you to avoid any possible trip-ups.
Wait, they have an explanation for it? Where's that?
Yeah, it's... God, I wish I remember where I looked it up. I think it's in the manual. It's an official explanation for how fast travel works. It's literally just a state of mind where you zone out and walk along. Like, okay, but wouldn't this be exactly the opposite of being able to easily avoid shit? No, you just naturally, subconsciously avoid any traps or trouble or whatever.
What?
Which fucking... Hold on, I could just check. Wait, there is no map marker for this. Who the fuck is this? It just ran into, like, what looks like a Daedric shrine, but it's got no map marker. You can't activate the statue. I guess it's probably one of the actual gods, then. Like one of the 9 divines. I didn't even know those existed. Just shrines to the gods, like the way there's, shrines to the Daedra out in the wilderness. That is weird.
Huh, that's something I didn't know.
What?
Apparently, if you are in sneak mode when you go fast travel in New Vegas, it increases the time. So it actually accounts for the fact that you are trying to sneak around, even though you wouldn't run into anything anyway.
God, that wolf is still following me. Just gonna summon a demon to fucking fight it for me. I hate that you can fast travel from anywhere, like having specific points for fast travel. I've definitely grown softer on fast travel over the years, but I think Morrowind just does it really well, where the later you get into the game, the more useful ways you're going to have to travel and get around obstacles and stuff, like just better acrobatics to jump up the side of hills and mountains, or like levitation and stuff. And of course,
Whee!
being faster.
I'm going to be back in just a couple of minutes here. I want to check something out.
Alrighty. Yeah, I think fast travel in Fallout 1 and 2 make the most sense. Yeah, with the interruptions to random encounters, something like that could work. In fact, it would probably benefit these games greatly to have a similar map system. In a sense, you see the overworld map and your the line of your character traveling along it, and then it stops, and then just puts you into the world wherever you're stopped. To do the thing, to do the encounter, whatever it may be. And with like a fully open world like this, you could set up some pretty interesting encounters based on areas in the map. Where it's like, okay, this area you're more likely to run into bandits. This area you're more likely to run into wildlife. Or, hey, there's a strange, slightly hidden location here that you can find on your own. But there's a chance to find it when fast traveling in the area. And then they just, like, load you into the area of the map where the hidden thing is. So you're, like, right in front of it and can't miss it. Being able to fast travel past a dangerous area just feels cheap. Like going to the glowing sea in Fallout 4, you should have to encounter danger. Yeah. Yeah, in many ways I feel... I hit the wall there. In many ways I feel like fast travel just cheapens the experience. Especially if there's gonna be like something that's gonna be a persistent problem. Like an entire enemy faction that's hard to deal with. And because you pass the area once, well, you never have to pass it again because you can just fast travel past it. Unless, of course, the quest takes you directly to that place. So yeah, I'm definitely with you on that.
Back.
Welcome back. Was just
Welcome back.
just talking about how fast travel can really cheapen the experience, how you never have to deal with danger again once you've dealt with it the first time.
Yeah, I'm just flipping through my New Vegas hardback official game guide collector's edition.
Nice.
Number 25,352. Because I figured if they had that bit on how they treat fast travel, it would probably be either in this or the manual, and I cannot for the life of me find which box I put the damn manual in.
While you were gone, I had a quick discussion about a potentially interesting thing. People in chat were saying that they liked the Fallout 1 and 2 fast travel system. And I was talking about it would probably be interesting for these games like Oblivion, Skyrim, Fallout 3 and 4, and New Vegas to have fast travel work like the map from Fallout 1 and 2, where along your route you can have these random encounters. It loads you into the proper game space, but it spawns in like rare encounters with things you wouldn't see otherwise. Or alternatively, there could be hidden things in the world that you could find on your own, but through fast traveling you have a chance of running into them as an encounter. You know?
So I just have this mental image of the like the Oblivion map, and then you have like this dot moving along,
Yeah.
and you have Chrysalis Highwayman playing in the background.
That's pretty much exactly what I mean, except for maybe a different
Yes.
choice of music.
No. Chrysalis Highway, it's iconic. You gotta go with it.
It is. I love that fucking track. It is so good. I don't think it fits Oblivion.
No, it wouldn't fit. It,
You know what? Do a remake of it with a fucking a loot.
You have run into 4 random bandits. Engage or avoid.
All right.
Good thing I picked up Elven Ranging.
I left the city of Chorrol at about 12:15. I said is now 12:25, with 90 speed and pretty much no stopping or slowing down. I'm still not at Leywin yet.
It's only been 10 minutes. Come on.
No, I know, but what I'm getting at is, imagine if you were trying to play without fast traveling to experience the world, and it still takes you this fucking long just to walk from one part of the map to the other. Like,
Well,
with
I mean,
almost no
that's how
distractions.
That's how I play, well, basically all Fallout games. I do not like using fast travel at all.
No, I know, but what I'm trying to highlight is the problem this creates in gameplay where, like, yeah, you could travel, but it becomes a little bit insane and overbearing when quests are constantly sending you to the other side of the map when there's, like, really no good reason for it. Like, this quest at least has some decent enough reasoning for it in the sense that, Buddy in the Fighters Guild HQ in Cyrodiil wants to investigate the Blackwood Company in Leywin. So, okay, at least that makes sense. But still the fact that, oh, we have a contract on the other side of the map for you to go do. Go do it. Just random contract.
Yeah, it
Also,
was... Go ahead.
Just quickly, see this bridge here?
Yeah.
Ships can't go from the Imperial City to the sea because of that bridge and a few other similar points where there's no depth to the water.
Oh, I'm sure the ship can go. It's just going to have to rebuild the bridge every single time.
Oh, okay, so 12:27, I'm at Leywin. Let's go back to that bridge quickly.
That doesn't look like a navigable river anyways.
It's not.
It's so narrow and shallow. It's kind of, if a rowboat maybe. A rowboat wouldn't get under that bridge though because it's not up.
Yeah. How deep is it? Because I know there's points where the river is so shallow that you can walk across it without going underwater. Yeah, a ship wouldn't.
If you were in a rowboat, you'd knock yourself.
There's pretty much no depth to this. This is basically like 6 feet, maybe, of water. Yeah. It's like, yeah, a ship isn't going to be able to get through there. A proper ship?
Yeah, no way in hell.
And there's worse parts like that along there, too. And there's a quest where you go to bed on one of the ships in the Imperial City and wake up and you're out at sea.
I guess the ships also use fast travel.
They must.
There's just a portal that opens up.
But again, that's what I mean, where, like, it really seems like parts of the world-building team and parts of the, like, quest design team just don't interact with each other in this company where shit like that happens. Where, like, this isn't even, world-building to, quest design. This is world-building to world-building, because Imperial City's a port city. It has ships that go out to sea. Why the fuck does the water access from, like, the only water access to the Imperial City to the sea have numerous points where it's just impossible for a ship to navigate? And it's a little thing. I get it. It's not the end of the world.
Skyrim's a little better about that, but it's still, there's a number of areas where like this makes no sense.
I'm not sure they're that much better about it. Riften is a port city as well, and they're in a lake, and the only exit is a waterfall.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't going to mention Riften, especially because I mean, you're right. It is a lake. It's not really trying to go to the ocean, but at the same time, even that they kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
But at least it's like with Solitude and such, it's like, okay, this is an actual inlet. This is an actual docking area. That the bridge is way the hell up there, so you're not worried about shit blocking things. It's still a few places that still fuck it up like that, but still.
The ocean access just got worse from the Imperial for the Imperial City. Do you think a ship could pass this? Do you think the water's high enough here for a ship to cross?
This is where you use water magic to just create a giant wave. flood in your pie castle in the process. Sorry, coming through, not again.
Yeah,
the
like
actual fuck. That is the river. That is.
I really didn't consider or notice it before, but yeah, this makes it so.
It's no longer even a river.
Yeah,
How the hell?
Which means like.
There would have to be an underground pipe to let water pass. These are now two separate bodies.
Yeah, this is a separate body of water now. All of this is completely unconnected from the ocean. And again, what I was starting to say is this, it's a little thing, technically, of, yeah, this doesn't break the story, really, but it breaks my immersion in the world when you just have this thing that's nonsensical, where the Imperial City in this lake is a port city. They have a dock. Hold on.
It's all in game, and yeah, waterfront. There it is.
Well, yeah, the waterfront. There's ships.
Waterfront only serves the lake area, I guess.
But what you don't need ships, like, especially when, like, where are the other ports? Honestly, Breville and Leowin should have their own ports too, by the way. But let's ignore that. You like, where are these ships delivering stuff to along this way? There's no other ports.
Okay, I mean, if we're talking about to scale, assuming that the ship is the correct size, it's actually a small sailing ship that you would expect to be like a lake bark. But I know this is supposed to be actually
just very quickly, Anvil, the other port city we have in the game, has the same scale ships, and it's implied they do go out to sea.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could. A bark is capable of going to sea, but it's also most commonly used on lakes. That being said, we're talking lakes like Superior, and like the Great Lakes, where they're practically oceans in their own right when you get to a certain point. This is disheartening.
Yeah, and it's these, like, flaws in world building that make me take the world less seriously. It takes me out of the experience. It breaks my immersion. Because it doesn't feel like, yes, I'm in a real world with real people who have real problems that need to be solved. It becomes, oh, this is just thing that doesn't matter, so why care?
And to me, it's like, okay, they apparently did this so that they could put a castle on one side of the river with a dirt bridge. Like you said, there's already a problem that they had the wooden bridge there. But why? Okay, hello, midget. But yeah, it's like, okay, that was bad enough. Why do you have a complete just dirt area here?
Yeah, because again, it's a separate body of water now.
I'm wondering, was there any programming limitation they ran into where it's just like, oh, we can't have a complete... No, it makes no sense because you already had...
Yeah. This is purely a world design problem where parts of this river should be a bit wider, first of all, by the way. Second of all, the entire city of Leowin should be moved over, like, significantly, so the water could still pass through.
I really think that...
And you could even do...
With those two crossing points, you could have addressed it very simply with basically an overpass. If you really
Yeah.
had to have, it's like, okay, we want the player to be able to get from here to here. It's like, okay, then, or a barge, a simple barge system.
Want to know what makes it even worse, Kelbeck? They already have a massive river-spanning bridge, where the whole point is to allow, like, ships through, in terms of, like, its design.
I mean, they would have to adapt this for something where they don't have such major elevations on either side, but that's what stairs are for.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. You could do a cool thing with Leywin's design, where it's on one side of the river, and they have a bridge to the other side, or you could pull a Game of Thrones with the twins, where the city is on both sides, and you have a massive bridge that goes from one side to the other, and you have to pay a toll to cross it, because it's extremely fucking valuable to cross this bridge.
Wizards
Again,
filled up the river to screw over the imperial economy. A wizard did it. Oblivion's map is an inside job.
Dude, awesome. Retro streams regularly? Weed and good, boys. Yeah, I play new games, I play old games, I play whatever I feel like playing. I like a lot of old games. I want to play through the Half-Life games. There's some PlayStation 1 games I want to play through. It's all a matter of finding the time right now, though. Man, Oblivion is retro. What the fuck? Oh, that makes me feel so old. I remember when it came out.
So my retro isn't retro anymore? What is mine? Classic?
It's like the joke in Futurama where Fry plays a song fucking I Like Big Butts, and someone else turns off and they're like, stop listening to that classical music. I made a mistake of fast traveling here. I can't get away from enemies to fucking sleep or fast travel, so I could get back to the quest I need to do. There we go. They were very limited back then. I remember when this came out. Agree with you guys, but they weren't as worried about anything that didn't go with the campaign. Yeah, I know. It's... I do like
That's partially
Oblivion.
our complaint. They weren't worried.
Yeah. And that's kind of the problem, is the attitude they have where they don't really care or pay that much attention to the world building is a massive problem for their later games, especially like... I mean, it's the direct game after Oblivion, but Fallout 3... and then moving into Skyrim and Fallout 4, Starfield, like, yeah, it's just been a persistent problem with them, and it's only been getting worse.
Oh yeah, I was saying that before. It's like Fallout 3. I thought, okay, it's got its problems, but it's a decent start. Bethesda only got started. Give them a chance. New Vegas comes along. Oh my god, this is so much better. Fallout 4, I'm expecting it to get even better, but it's kind of like, you added some stuff, but you also took a bunch away, and the graphics are nicer. Otherwise, what?
Yeah.
And then 76 made me, throw my computer out the window.
The Elder Scrolls have always been silly, and then someone responds, boss, I'm tired. Dude, the fucking always silly argument is so fucking annoying.
What I always love is how those videos will cut to things that aren't like the TARDIS or the. I think one of them. I've seen one of them that references like, look, it's the Star Trek shuttle. It's like, yeah, and you know that can't be taken seriously as a real part of the Fallout franchise, or it would be a lawsuit. This is a throwaway joke.
That might just be their argument, though, is that, yeah, it's not a serious part of the lore, but it's a silly thing, and it's an example of Fallout always being silly.
No,
it's like,
it can't be. The silly bits are non-lore. Otherwise, it's a lawsuit. I mean, they don't think in those terms at all.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's a silly part of the lore. No, it's not lore. It can't be.
These people are either like disingenuous liars, or they literally can't understand the concept of like, this is a joke, but the entire thing doesn't consist of this. Because that one fucker I keep referencing, he references the extremely rare talking Brahmin Easter egg in Fallout 1. And it's frustrating seeing that, because it's like, oh yeah, okay. Talking Brahmin, very rare Easter egg. So is the entire game haha funny like the talking Brahmin? Or was that simply an in-joke between the developers because that's something that was relevant to them in some way? I forget the exact context.
Sorry, that was Fallout 1 or 2?
1 had the talking Brahmin.
Okay. Well, remember also 1 was originally going to have the Solanter, talking raccoons, who were tribals. They decided this doesn't fit with the theme that we're going with, but they were developing that. So the idea of mutated animals that could talk was not off the table in the design documents.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the Solanter were supposed to be played straight serious.
Which
So
is...
the idea that you run into a talking Brahmin, oh, that's so ridiculous. That's not outside what they were going for seriously.
And that's another thing. People refer to the talking death clause as if, like, literally they give examples of how Fallout has always been silly and stupid. They're like, one of the games had talking death clause, and they don't elaborate on that at all. It's like, oh, hey, there's a talking animal, so you're just immediately supposed to take it as fucking silly and stupid and unimportant. When, like,
I've never understood why they would use the death clause for that example either.
Because they don't know what they're talking about.
The plant.
Because they don't know what they're talking about. Because, like, they've seen someone else's video talk about it, and they're just regurgitating what they're hearing. And that's for the people who make the initial claims. They're being disingenuous cunts. That's the only explanation.
I'm going to go ahead and steelman this on the side of the people talking about Goofy. Because it's, if I recall correctly, and correct me if I am wrong on this, but the bit with the talking plant, which is a reference to Audrey from Little Shop of Horrors, and the scorpion that plays chess with you, you actually have to do those things to complete the quest, because the guy has stuff that you need to continue.
I don't remember encountering a talking scorpion.
No, not a talking scorpion. The scorpion does not talk, it clicks, but it plays chess with you.
Okay, I don't remember.
It's a doctor's pet.
Yeah, I don't remember doing that.
Okay. So maybe I'm wrong that it's a required part of Fallout 2.
I do know the talking plant is one of the ones in the starting village, right?
No.
No?
No. None of the plants in the starting village talk. You have the mutated plants that spit at you.
Right.
Spores. But no, this is like around, I want to say it's either by the time you get to the NCR or it's related to one of the actual towns, because you find a doctor in a town that you need to get something from this doctor. And the plant is a straight up Audrey reference. The plant will talk to you while you're in the doctor's office, but it's a side thing. Because you're actually there to beat the scorpion at a game of chess, which is an intelligence check.
I genuinely do not remember the scorpion playing chess. I'm gonna look this up quickly, because this is all new to me.
See, I remember this as being directly related to one of the quests, and either results in one of the solutions for a thing that you have to get past, or you might be able to bypass it. But the point that I was making is, if it is a part of the main game, then you would have to say, yes, a talking plant and a chess-playing scorpion, i.e. an intelligent scorpion, these are things that are part and parcel of the actual thing. And you could say, it's always been silly if you were going to make that argument, but they never do.
All right. I looked it up on the, it came up on the Fallout Wiki when I Googled it. Defeat the Professor's Red Scorpion in 3 challenges is an unmarked quest in Fallout 2. The Chosen One can only win the intelligence test, a chess game, by learning the flying liver attack from Seymour after doing him a favor, digging him out and planting him near Old Ghoul's home. The other 2 test the Chosen One's perception and agility, and are mere rolls against that attribute. You don't actually win, because the Red Scorpion always succeeds, but instead you get the experience when you tie. Killing the Professor's Red Scorpion is bad for karma. Blah 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 blah. Reward. Completing each challenge yields 500 EXP. If the player completes the agility challenge while having low intelligence, the Professor will also give them a pack of Mentats. The frying liver attack is a reference to a real chess opening. Fried liver attack. What the fuck? So there's nothing in here saying that it's like part of the main story or anything.
So it's a side thing, and you could say that's part of the Wild Wasteland thing. That's okay. I thought it was related to something that you had to get to, like, defeat the Wanamingos. I forgot. It has been that long since I played Fallout 2. I remember the whole thing with the Scorpions, though.
Alright, you are now obligated to play Fallout and Fallout 2.
Okay, but only if I get to use the Little Pit mod.
I have no idea what that is.
My Little Pony with a character for Fallout 2.
Of course.
You are playing Little Pit from Fallout Equestria, who somehow finds yourself in California.
Of course. Yeah, sure, whatever.
I can direct you to a video I already have on it on my channel.
$10 from Abdulio, thank you. The downfall of the Elder Scrolls, I believe, began when Julian LaFay left during the development of Morrowind, and since then it's been slowly degrading. The last true entry is the second, Daggerfall. Oh, I disagree with that. At least the last true entry. I absolutely consider Morrowind. Oblivion, it's more of a question, because... Oh boy.
I generally consider the breaking point for something to be where you cannot resolve problems between the installments.
Yeah.
Like, okay, where does it actually break beyond the point of reparation? I would say in Fallout that was definitely 76, possibly Fallout 4. 76 definitely absolutely broke it.
I hard disagree with that. I'd say Fallout 4, maybe Fallout 3. Like, New Vegas gets to stay because it stays in line with what was there. Fallout 4, I believe, absolutely breaks it. That is the breaking point. And Fallout 3, it's a question of whether it's a breaking point or not, because you have to take into consideration everything Fallout is at that point and how much Fallout 3 breaks that.
I'm actually in agreement with you. I'm just saying that 76 is an absolute example.
True, but I'd still say Fallout 4 is absolute.
Yeah, you're actually better read up on it than I am, and I will agree with you that it's broken enough that, yeah.
Fallout 76 is like the obvious one, though. It's kind of like jumping from, I don't know, it's like jumping from the original Star Wars to, like, the Acolyte and saying, yeah, this is totally the same franchise, guys. It's like, no, it isn't. Fuck off.
You have 3 barbarian characters in a line, and then you have a clown. What does not belong here?
That actually reminds me, too. Go ahead.
Dude, this is like Alfman asking, what's the problems with Fallout 76? Do not start me.
Oh, God.
We won't get back to the game.
Yeah.
To make it short, Fallout 4 manages to break its own narrative before you even leave the damn vault.
But going back to something we were talking about way earlier, the lack of Bethesda's creativity. I'm going to talk about that. I just want to get this quest dialogue out of the way. Alright. I didn't know that's all he had to say, was we need to check out blah 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 blah. Fucking... The best example, I've talked about this numerous times, of Bethesda's lack of creativity is the cover art. It's one of my favorite things to reference, because it is such an easy example. Original Fallout cover art. First game in the series, it could do pretty much anything. It does power armor. Because of course it does. Because, hey, we've got this really cool top-tier gear. We're going to show it off. It's like, you know what? That's pretty fucking cool. That makes sense. Good job. It's hard to fuck it up on the first try, you know? Fallout 2. It has the Enclave power armor, and yes, it's another power armor, but it is radically different from the original. It looks alien and bug-like, it's darker, and it's the armor of the main enemy faction, as opposed to, like, one of the neutral / kind of good factions, kind of sorta, from the first game. So, again, it's showing something entirely new and unique and interesting looking. Then you
the vaguely menacing faction.
Yeah. Then you get Fallout 3, and it's power armor again. Okay. I guess. Sure. Seems a little lazy. Looks a little bit interesting and intimidating, I suppose, and for anyone who hasn't seen the first two, which are a decade old at that point, hey, you know what? It could capture audience's attention. You know what? Fine. You could have done better, but fine, whatever.
It's an iconic reference at that point.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, fine. For your first entry, no big deal.
And then you get New Vegas, and it's an entirely new armor set. It's in a fairly dynamic-looking pose. It isn't just, like, standing there like the Fallout 3 one. It's like, you know what? That is really fucking cool. It's unique. It looks interesting. Good job. Very good. Then you get Fallout 4, and it's just power armor again. And like,
let's also note that there were themes for Fallout 3 and New Vegas related to the armor, because Fallout 3 basically revolves around the BOS.
Yeah, I hate how much it focuses on them, but yeah, that is a fact that it does focus on them.
So it's like, this is referencing
relevant.
the story. Okay,
yeah.
And then you get the Ranger armor for New Vegas. It's like, okay, this is different, but it also references the story. It's like, this is something that the game revolves around. This is I don't know. If I was to do anything different about it, I would probably have NCR armor on one side facing off against some Legion armor on the other side.
What I would have...
And then the dam in the middle. But that would be a completely different composition.
What I might have done instead is do 3 or 4 unique covers. Not to do like the comic book thing of alternate covers, but just to like show off each faction. You keep the NCR one, you have a Legion one, you have one with a Securitron to show off Yes Man, and then you have something to show off House, like his terminal or something. But like, you don't actually see his face to keep him more mysterious, you know?
Or you could do a GTA inspired cover and have all of those on the front.
Yeah, no. That wouldn't...
It would be too much of a... I'm saying that tongue in cheek, but
yeah. But point is that yeah, they're both at least relevant to their stories, regardless of the quality of Fallout 3's story.
And then 4 isn't. Absolutely not.
Yeah, like the Brotherhood are involved, but you don't actually have to deal with them if you don't want to. And
the story doesn't revolve around them.
And more to the point, again, it's just power armor again, but it's a close-up of power armor. You're like, I don't know. It just seems like such a bad, lazy decision to me to do like, hey, here's power armor, then here's power armor but closer. Like, what? What are you doing?
And I do have to say that New Vegas, the way they pose the Ranger armor,
Yeah,
that is, in and of itself, that tells you something.
yeah. Whereas Fallout 3 and 4, it's just power armor just standing there in like a generic pose.
It's either looking at you or it's in profile.
Yeah.
It's the laziest thing that they could have done.
Yeah, and I guess on Fallout 3 and 4, it's a new set of power armor we haven't seen before each time, but they're both, like, very similar looking, and it's a very flat shot and not that interesting on their own.
And all this tells me is, ooh, a Fallout game with new armor.
Yeah. And that's if you can even, like, distinguish at a glance that, oh, hey, this actually is a new set we haven't seen before. Which, again, looking at Fallout 4's cover art, I have trouble, like, distinguishing it from some of the others. I can't tell at a glance anymore what power armor it is. Because, like, T-51 had that, like, the one from the original games, had that kind of more, like, I don't know how to describe it. I kind of want to say bucket head, like, type look. But it's not quite that because it rounds at the top. It's not like the literal round flat top knight helmet from Ye Olden days. But the way it, like, it's kind of like a big, almost kind of a bulb. It's hard to describe. Then the others are just like gas masks. Variations of a gas mask design, and they just look too similar for me to be able to tell at a glance which one they are. But getting back...
Post-apocalyptic.
But then getting back on point, then we get Fallout 76, and it's power armor yet again, but from the side. And again, it feels like they didn't even try. It's... We're doing the same thing as Fallout 4, but from a different angle. Like, really? That's what you've got?
I'm actually surprised, considering that they wound up farming out so much of Fallout 76 to a different studio entirely, how well it turned out. It should have been much worse.
Which is saying something, because it's still pretty fucking bad.
Yes. Yes, but in terms of the sheer amount of content they got in, that's a lot of work. And I can respect that these people put a lot of work into it, and they probably tried their best, but they were not given good direction, and they were not given a good story.
Yeah. Just gonna do quest dialogue quickly.
Let's look around.
Oh. Okay, he literally has nothing to say again. I just had to wait for him to
Let's
answer.
look around.
I thought he was gonna have more to say. Where to go? I thought they were both T45. Fallout 3 is T45. Fallout 4, I believe, is the new set of power armor they introduced. Because going back to...
T60.
What's that T60 that was on Fallout 4?
I'm pretty sure that was supposed to be it.
Okay, I get all the power armor models confused. So, Fallout 1 had T51. They didn't call it that back then, but that's the designation it was eventually given. Then Fallout 2 had Enclave power armor, or Advanced power armor as it was called. Then Fallout 3 introduced T45 power armor, right? And then Fallout 4 introduced T60. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how it goes, because...
Okay, yeah, looking at it, when they show the close-up bit for Fallout 4 with just the helmet, that's actually a zoom in on the image of the thing hanging up in the garage.
Okay. So let's see, Fallout 4 has T45,
looking at that-
T51, T60.
Yeah, that does appear to be T60.
Okay. So just going based on, like, the names, because looking at the article for power armor, Fallout 1 has power armor and hardened power armor. Fallout 2 has power armor, hardened power armor, advanced power armor Mark II. Those are the in-game names. I don't know if they were given, like, proper names in the manuals or descriptions or anything that said hey, this is T51B. I don't know if T51 is, like, Bethesda invention or not.
Pretty sure T51 was referenced in the original games.
Okay. Because,
T51 and T45.
yeah, because looking at the list of power armor for Fallout 4, not counting any of the, like, weird side shit they do, there's T45, which came from Fallout 3, T51, which came from the original, T60, which comes from Fallout 4 itself, and X01, which is obviously Enclave power armor, which comes from Fallout 2. And the whole problem with the lore regarding power armor is the one from the original Fallout, T51, is said to have been the most advanced power armor that was, I think, deployed or in use or developed before the war.
It was considered the pinnacle.
Yeah. And then Fallout 4 retcons that by having T60, which is an advancement of that, in Fallout 4. It's shown in the intro opening that, oh hey, there's soldiers here outside the vault in T60 power armor. So there's the first power armor retcon of Fallout 4. Of, oh hey, T51 wasn't the pinnacle, the most advanced, the best power armor before the war, because we have another one here. And then we get back to X01, spawning in, like, closed-off dungeons that haven't been accessed for 200 years, and the Nuka-Cola fucking power armor suit in Nuka World, also retconning that into being pre-war as well. T60 looks like it may not have been deployed. It was on soldiers at the beginning of the game. It was deployed.
Here we go. Fallout, the role-playing game core rulebook. So this is from the original.
Okay.
T51B was the most advanced power armor in wide-scale use. There we go. Before the outbreak of the Great War. So it's before the outbreak. It was the most advanced in wide-scale use. First seeing service and inherently great success in Anchorage Reclamation Campaign, became standard issue for the Army's armored infantry regiments. It was the peak of pre-war power armor technology.
Oh, thank God.
Widely enough, yeah, that's in the second sentence, that it can still be found centuries later in the wastelands.
Because I was about
and it goes into its construction and everything else.
I was about to get annoyed at the most advanced widespread use, because you know that's one of those lines that people are going to take advantage of and be like, oh, well, that means there could be more advanced power armor out there that were pre-war too. It's like, oh my God.
I would have. Honestly, I would have, because look, when it comes to writing for an established IP, my view is that you need to write into the cracks instead of just trying to overwrite or create new shit entirely. If you can, try and deepen rather than widen, make shallow. So I might have gone with something like that, but the second sentence would cut me off. The T51 was the peak of pre-war power armor technology. So, I mean, that should be it. T51, that's the peak. So that is why, to me, T60 is a refit of T45. It's taking older, obsolete shit. You know, kind of like how they took the patent and tried to make the Sergeant York with it.
I don't know what that is.
The patent was the M48, which was like a late World War II Korean War era tank. And so by the 1980s, the U.S. Army has like thousands of these things rusting away in boneyards. And somebody says, why don't we use these for a new vehicle? So they put anti-aircraft guns and an F-16 engagement system on it. The F-16's radar is then going, what's all this ground clutter shit? Which is the primary reason why I was so chuffed. But yeah, I can see the end of the gun barrels waggling in front of the radar. I am now confused. That's not supposed to be there. What the hell's that? But yeah, the York was garbage, but this is my point. The Army has a habit of taking older, obsolete stuff and refitting it for other purposes.
That...
I'm not too busy for good talk.
I can see them... Well, okay. What the hell?
After he killed that rat, after I died, he was just like, I'm never too busy for a good talk.
I missed that because I had it muted, because otherwise I can hear our voices.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind the idea of a refit, but T60 just it can't exist based on what lore we have. But
Yeah,
the
it's
the main thing I was going to that I wanted to talk about there was the reason I don't like people taking advantage of lines like it was the power armor that had the most widespread use before the war is because to me that just strikes me as, oh look, here's something we can make it, we can use this as an excuse to shove something in here that clearly wasn't intended to be here before. To me, it's the same kind of writing style as what they do with Rings of Power, where it's like, well, this history for Galadriel didn't exist, like wasn't written down before. It didn't exist, so we can fill all those blank spaces with her being a girl boss warrior that, like, does these stupid battle things and kills an ice troll solo and stuff like that, you know? When that just had nothing to do with her character before. It strikes
yeah.
me as the same kind of writing of, there's an excuse for me to shove something in here, so I'm going to do it. It's the same thing as, hey, this pre-war soldier was actually Nate.
Yeah, and the way that Email said that, and he tried to explain himself later, is that, oh, this is actual lore. I thought it was an interesting tidbit to share. It's like, no, you made that up.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like that disingenuous, like, backtrack on it either, because he realized he stepped in it. But my main point is, it just seems like one of those writing things that people would take advantage of to just shove something there that doesn't belong, doesn't fit, wasn't intended to be there. Because you see a lot of that when new people, like new writers, take over a franchise. And it's
Well,
one of my...
there's
It's one of the things I hate the most.
there's also a really good thing about that second sentence because it says specifically,
Yeah,
this is the peak of pre-war, and that
Yeah.
means Fallout 2 comes along, the Enclave is making stuff after the war.
yeah, and that makes sense that they would be trying to make better equipment long after the war.
And also, I found it interesting that they didn't just give them awesome shit to start with. Like, it took them a long time to come up with something good.
to the point where they still have soldiers in the old power armor.
Yeah.
Like, they're still, like, in the middle of rollout of advanced power armor. And then they've got advanced power armor 2, Mark II developed as well.
Yeah, because, like, their original attempt at it was not as good as T-51B. It's like, but this is at least something. That was their basic thing. And then they improve on it. It's like, this makes sense. Also kind of gives an indication of how relatively limited their resources should be considered to be.
Yeah.
Because they're not just like, oh, we're just like the federal government. We're just cranking this stuff out. It's like, no, it took them well over a century to get the first power armor original design out.
Again, that just makes me think of how Bethesda would handle it and how they would do the most lazy thing possible. If they had Fallout, or if they had made Fallout 2, they wouldn't even consider, like, the production time for the power armor. All the Enclave would just have Enclave power armor. Or, hell, they probably wouldn't even be smart enough to come up with the idea of advanced power armor looking alien and, like, bug-like. They would probably just fucking... They would probably just do, like, another set of power armor that looks identical to the other ones we've seen.
In fact, I was going to suggest that just now with that... fuck, what was it? I was going to say, maybe that could be the origin of T60. It's like... the Enclave is like this. It's painful and taking a very long time to produce our really good stuff. So while we're still working on that, we'll refit all this old T45, and then when Adam's AFB falls during Broken Steel, that's where BOS gets. It's like, oh, we found all this stuff in storage. The problem with that, of course, is that Enclave wasn't using that. They just had all of their. Well, if you think about the stuff as being like this is backup, then I guess yeah, we would rather use our top end stuff to try and repel the Brotherhood of Steel. But still, it's like since there's nothing for it in any of the lore, and there's never an explanation given, it's like again we're having to write this for them.
Yeah. That actually raises another question, though. Shouldn't the Brotherhood and Fallout 4 have some Enclave power armor, advanced power armor?
Probably gathering dust in a warehouse somewhere.
But why would they not use equipment just because their enemy used it, which, honestly, the Enclave's antics probably aren't super widespread. Like, people would know they were a problem in California, but no one is going to know that necessarily on the East Coast before they showed up in Fallout 3.
I guess that would be the only thing, because the general public, it actually makes more sense from Lion's point of view. Lions might not want to have his version of the BOS associated, you know, the same way as like somebody walking around into Stahlhelm. The U.S. Army didn't want that. And in fact, the first time that the Kevlar helmet, the new one, came out, people were like, that's a little too close to the German World War II helmet, guys. So
Yeah, but at the same time, it's an incredibly useful piece of equipment that's better than what you already have. And again, what the Enclave did isn't going to be that widespread because both incidents were super localized. It wasn't like the entire country was under threat. And most importantly...
I was about to actually get to that.
Okay.
I was going to say, by Fallout 4, that shouldn't be a concern because you've got Maxon, who is not the idealist that Lyons is. He's much more pragmatic.
Yeah.
And if it's better armor, which it probably should be, especially if T60 is supposed to be a refit, then it's kind of like, yeah, we're just going to use this. Also, we don't mind striking terror into the occasional person who might associate us with the Enclave because we don't give a shit what they think anymore, as long as they pay their tithe.
Yeah. I'm confused on where I'm supposed to go here. I am actually lost. There's another thing. Yeah, they could just repaint it, was going to be my last point. Yeah. So it looks like, yeah, it's the same design, but it's painted to fit the Brotherhood.
Everything else gets a paint job, why not?
Yeah.
Enclave armor painted in the Vim logo.
Bruh.
I'm just sorry. We're here to bring back democracy, America, and soda pop.
Goat head empty. Rude. Wait, you didn't even put a T there. It's empty.
That's empty. Goat head empty.
Look, okay, there's this hall with blades. I don't want to go through this hall again, because I hate these swinging blades. I went through every passage here, and they all lead to a dead end. I think I do have to go back, because I have to have missed something.
Here is a goat looking at the literal chopping block.
How did I get hit by that? I wasn't even near it! Oh, it's probably the gas.
The goat longs for the chopping block. Become Lamb Chop's Cree. It is your destiny.
No.
Oh, I was actually going to bitch a bit about the Exo 1 armor because, Fallout 4, one of the biggest problems is that they leveled all the fucking armor. It's like, oh, are you X level by the time you find this? Then it's going to be this type. It's like, no, make it static. Because then you could have just had whatever was on it. Here's a T-51B, the pinnacle of pre-war technology, on display with the Nuka-Cola symbol. Okay, all right, we understand that they have a deal with the military going on. But the XO1, which by all preceding lore shouldn't even exist. I mean, if you're going to have it at all, it needs to be its own special... Well, they did make it their own special thing, just in the worst way. But if they had made all the various stuff static, then you also wouldn't have stuff like, hey, I'm just wandering around the field, and here, sitting in the field, is a perfectly functional set of T-60. because I didn't go here until I leveled up way the hell up, and so now it's this. Anybody could have walked off with this in the last 200 years. Nobody did. Why not? Especially since there's bandits on the hill like 100 feet away.
Yeah. They should either be, like, rotted out, rusted out from the years, like, in the weather.
The Exo one is, Aimless Savant was saying they're both leveled and static. Yeah, the Exo one at least is static. Because you can't get there early and find that it's just T51 or whatever. Pristine E-series.
I genuinely don't know where to go in here.
I knew it.
Oh.
Azani Blackheart isn't here. Alive or dead.
Oh, okay.
I had to talk to him.
The bastards. There was no battle. Azani must have made a deal with the Blackwood Company. My guess is that they paid him off. They get the weapon for Argoth, collect the payment, and tell Azani where the mage is. Easy for Blackheart to retrieve the weapon and collect on it. We find Blackheart and get that weapon. We'll finish this contract and let all of Cyrodiil know what happened here. Blackheart has a fascination with these Ayleid ruins. There's one northeast of here, Atatar. My bet is that he moved his base there. I'll lead.
And that's the annoying thing about the power armor, too. Is, in Fallout 5, there's going to be another new set of power armor. Because, and this is kind of what I was getting at, too, with the whole comparison of the covers of the games and what they've been doing with power armor all this time. They're not going to do something interesting. We're not going to get another NCR Ranger outfit. We're going to get another simple variation on something we've seen instead of something new.
T80 power armor.
Yeah. Like, that's a joke I made in the analysis video. Like, how far is it going to go? T65, T70, T69, T420? Like, where does it end? How many variants of power armor were deployed before the war when, it's not possible.
If they're going to do T80 power armor, what I want is that if you shoot it in the quote-unquote sweet spot just under the chest, the helmet pops off with a giant explosion and flips in the air like a tank turret. Just a call out to the actual T80.
It is so frustrating and annoying and fucking stupid, man.
This was a reference to the Ukraine war.
Oh, no.
T9000, it's literally just Iron Man. I mean, you're not far off. They just need to introduce some kind of flight mechanics and have the jetpack be a permanent thing. Oh, and they have to install... Well, they did install an annoying AI in one of them. In Fallout 3, you get the annoying AI that's trying to talk to you.
Yeah, they've done that a few times. Even New Vegas has a few jokes like that.
You guys remember Anthem?
That's the thing, too, is they could have power armor developed after the war. There's no reason not to. And for some reason, they just need to make it pre-war. They just keep making it pre-war, because it has to be pre-war. And it's just so fucking frustrating. Just stick to the lore. Why is this so fucking difficult? You're making a nerd series for nerds. You know what nerds care about? The fucking lore being consistent and accurate. Just do it right, you stupid fucks. It's not difficult.
We don't feel beholden. That's from 20 years ago. You know what's older than 20 years ago? Fucking Star Trek.
Mm-mm.
They. By the way, they're bringing Kirk back.
Oh,
Kirk, I mean Shatner.
Oh.
Shatner himself actually announced that he's in talks.
Shatner is a fucking national treasure, a living legend.
Yeah. He is.
Sorry,
He's
just quick.
No, go ahead.
I'm super glad I got his autograph a couple years ago at Fan Expo, even if it was pretty expensive.
He is one of the most chill guys on the X platform,
Yeah.
the platform formerly known as Twitter. You're
Kinda.
with this guy, you following him, you're just like the kid in the back seat on the airplane. Just kicking him in the back. Hey, 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 hey.
Okay, why was this necessary? I can't just walk to the ruin. I can't wait for him to fucking catch up with me. No, I have to stay on his ass, because if he gets too far away, which isn't that fucking far, he'll fucking deadlock to the ground, arms at the side, staring forward blankly, waiting for me to get closer before he continues moving.
And since you've got speed 90, tap, 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 tap.
Even with speed 90, his walk speed feels like it's slightly faster than my walk speed. Yeah, he's definitely, like, gaining distance between me and him.
I hate that.
You shouldn't be able to do this. You shouldn't be able to do this in this game. Because
Why is it that so many games have mismatched walk speeds for escorts?
Why-
I think,
why does
I'm
this-
sorry, the only one that's done it right is CP2077.
why does this need to be an escort? Because, like, he followed me all the way down the Leyawind, he followed me to the ruins, and now that I talked to him and he said, hey, there's a ruin nearby, no, I have to slow walk with this fuck to go to the ruin to kill the fucking guy. Why did it need to be this way? Why did you do this?
Honestly, I don't know why so many games manage to mismatch character speeds like this. It's like there couldn't have been somebody playtesting this. Either that or whoever was like, yeah, this is the least annoying thing I've had to deal with all day. Not even gonna note it.
Why was this in any way necessary? What the fuck, Bethesda?
Has
I'm gonna
Bethesda
travel-
ever really had-
I'm gonna travel back in time and tell myself about this part of the game so I can hate Bethesda earlier than I actually did. This is fucked.
It's like the prequel to the Create.
Hold on, I have the soundboard. Yeah, for some reason it isn't playing on Discord anymore, that's weird. But, yeah. Because you can't run ahead of him either, because he'll do the same thing, he'll stop.
You're too far away from me.
Oh, are you not walking at the speed of fucking molasses in it? Thank you! Thank you for letting me take control in this situation when it was completely unnecessary before. Hate! $2 for Mama Akko, thank you. So is your night as on fire as mine was? I have no idea how on fire your night was. Nothing's burning around me right now. Besides my fucking hate for following NPCs walking slowly for no fucking reason.
You have a gentle simmer going right now.
Yes, that's what I would describe as a gentle simmer. Me going, hate.
Ooh, apartment across from you actually caught fire. Had to stop screaming. Eee.
I assume by apartment you mean apartment unit and not apartment building like across the street. I hope everyone's okay. I hope you're doing well. And, yeah.
I'm going to presume that the laugh icon suggests that it wasn't all that bad, but still.
Yeah, I doubt Mama Akko would be putting a laugh icon if, like, I don't know, a family of 4 with 2 children fucking died in the fire. But still.
The baby was found boiled in the bathtub.
Unit, and yes, everyone is fine. The Yippee survived. Thank God the Yippee
Yay!
survived. But yeah, that's scary stuff. We had
Egg, there was a brief discussion about ponies. It's over and done with. Goodbye.
the discussion was the fact there's not going to be a discussion because
Yeah.
Pagan isn't here.
Also, it's about 11:30 here. I'm just waiting for the roomie to either show up or tell me to shut up if he's already arrived. I haven't noticed. Usually he's fine until he wants to go to bed. This place has thin walls and tile floors.
Oh boy. We had 2 fires at my work since I started working there, and I was at work for neither of them.
I'd like to set a couple of fires around here, but unfortunately the property owner knows me too well. There are some people here who need to leave.
Yeah, that tends to be the way it goes.
Well, we have a pair of triplexes here. I'm in one, and the one across the way is owned by the brother of the landlord who I rent from. And his brother is kind of like, I don't care who lives here as long as they pay their rent. So we've had some interesting types over there.
You'll never take me down.
So why are there 5 cars and 15 people going in and out of one apartment?
Where do those axes go? I want to sell it. Wow.
Yeah, actually, you know what? If I'm thinking about it, that may be why I lost interest in Oblivion the first time around. Was
The physics system?
No. I just insisted on looting and selling everything because I'm a horde goblin.
Yes, and fellow loot goblin.
Yes, I absolutely am. In New Vegas, I'd be like, I'm over encumbered. I can still move. This is fine. I'm like, when I did my fic, I had like the OC character in it arriving in that version of not Novak with like 15 sets of armor and 35 rifles and all this shit just piled on top, just moving along like a snail, and go like, no, I'm not leaving any of it behind. No.
You were walking almost as fast as the NPC I was following.
Legs ready to collapse underneath it. Is like, no, I'm a caravaneer by trade. I don't leave anything behind.
Yeah, that fucking axe disappeared into the fucking void.
Where?
Somewhere beyond the limits of the geometry, there's just an axe flipping through space eternally.
By the way, well, while we were talking there after I was looking for the axe, I had the funniest fucking idea ever. Morrowind has, Oblivion has a spell too for detect life, right? Morrowind has a spell to detect ki. And I don't think it actually glows like life does. But I thought of a funny idea to put into a game like this. It's a detect weapon spell, except everything starts glowing because anything could be used as a weapon to kill someone. In like a literal sense. Like you can't equip a pillow and hit someone with it in these games, but it should still light up because a pillow can be used to suffocate someone, therefore it's a weapon.
So you're passing a desk and like everything on the desk is lit up.
Yeah. Everything, because technically anything can be used as a weapon to kill, like, okay, maybe not pieces of paper, but like...
Okay, Savant, technically yes. Everything is a physics-based object, thus a weapon. In a Bethesda game, that's very true. It's like, hey, this cooking pot, when flipping over to the side, just killed 3 bandits. And all of them lifted into the sky and were never seen again. The pot was still accelerating towards light speed when last spotted.
Do your work. Jump.
Death by 1,000 paper cuts? That'd be pretty hard to do, though. I hate Oblivion leveling system when every single bandit starts wearing elven and glass armor. Yeah. No, I agree with that. I will say, though, that is kind of a thing I both like and hate about Fallout 4, is the Raider power armor. Because on one hand, yeah, it does make sense that a Raider would weld a bunch of fucking metal together to make a shitty suit of power armor. It's literally the lowest tier of power armor in Fallout 4. Which is actually kind of weird, despite the fact the game gift wraps you a set at the very beginning. That's like, T45, I believe. My problem with it is I don't think Raiders would have the skills or capability to maintain, like, the power armor frame. Like, the whole electrical system built into that would be required to even use it. You know?
Well, it doesn't look like anybody does. Even when you're working on it, it looks like you're only working on the chassis.
Yeah. And that's a problem, too.
Now,
and
that being said, I think Fallout 4 has the best systems available for power armor.
Yeah, I like the way it feels to wear power armor and move through the world with it. Because that's actually the way power armor should function.
And I don't even have that much of a problem with the way the fusion batteries are used.
That I don't like.
For one reason, in that I've actually heard, I think this was from, I want to say Matt Cat, but I don't think so. Who was it who used to do all the Fallout explanation videos?
Shoddycast?
That's it. There was one where he points out, is like, okay, if you're talking an atomic battery and it's fission related or even fusion related, given the half-lives, you would expect them to start dying about the time Fallout 4 is set. My problem is that again, that's not something Bethesda thought of. It happens to be correct physics.
My problem is more so the first game says the battery can last 200 years or something like that. And then we get, like, fully charged fusion cores.
Mm-hmm. Which should not exist.
Yeah. Like, God, it's so...
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. That's a different point on that. It's... What is it? It's the equivalent of a battery that can no longer hold its charge. It's not like there's no power in it, but it burns out very quickly. So, in other words, it's on its last legs. If I have a problem with it, it's that you can build a new power core, but it behaves the same as the stuff that's burning out.
Yeah. My main problem is, well, aside from the retcon that these are power sources are supposed to last 200 years and they're not lasting that long, is the fact that you can pull a fully charged fusion core out of a generator that it's powering. The generator doesn't actually power anything. It powers a singular light above the generator itself. So what the fuck is the point of this generator if it's not powering anything? And again, this is something that could be used as a feature to, like, unlock areas where you could put in a fusion core and it'll take charge to open a door or power an area that you need to get through or access in some way. But they don't do that. Instead, it's just, here's a loot container that holds a singular fusion core.
I just had a horrible mental image.
Oh, no.
It's like, okay, so we know that laser muskets, with a few turns of the hand crank, can fire a bolt capable of killing somebody.
Yes.
What if you have a battery system like that, the same kind that goes into a laser musket, and you use it to power armor, but you have to have somebody on a treadmill for like an entire day to charge it? It's like, you are on my power armor charger. That's your job as a settler.
That feels like something Bethesda might have included in their Build Your Own Vault DLC, if they did more than, like, 3 shit-ass quests for it.
Oh god, that was so disappointing. Is this literally you built the entire vault for this?
You don't even
that was all you were gonna doing?
you don't even have to build the entire vault to do those quests. You can literally just like have them do it in the cave.
Yeah, I'm
with
just
like the
saying
bare
that
minimum.
this woman who gives you these is this literally all that she had? It's lazy.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to address something somebody was saying. Stuff can apparently last 200 years with no maintenance. This has always pissed me off, actually, going all the way back to Fallout 3. It's been hundreds of years. Most of this stuff, especially anything paper or of similar nature, should be dust, unless it's like in a box somewhere, in some place that is away from oxygen. If you've got a stack of papers, the papers on top would be yellowed because of oxidation. Underneath that, not so much. Okay, I didn't even know that you had fall away sections in here.
Yep. There's wooden plank bridges. There's a few stone ones that break like that.
Yeah, I would not have expected that.
Makes it a bit difficult to cross the bridge when there's a falling blade trap right in the gap.
So, point being is that virtually none of this stuff should be in that condition. You're running through... now I'd go back to Fallout 4, Boston. All these boats all over the place. I kind of had that problem even with the tanker in Fallout 2, except people were living on it. So it's like they have a vested interest in keeping this thing from just rusting out and going to the bottom.
Yeah.
Because it's their home. It's like, okay, fine.
Yeah, Fallout 2 is kind of pushing it.
Yeah, the fact that you could fill it up with fuel and then sail it out there, even that to me was kind of like, but again,
that's like
because of how it's being done.
That's still like very much pushing the limit. Like, I'll give you a pass on this, but I don't believe you.
Yeah, but in Fallout 4, all over Boston, you have these boats. A bunch of them look roughly appropriate. They're basically rusted out hulks. They should look a lot more like they do in New Vegas, actually. When you see a sunken boat, it's just like, this is what's left of it. You don't see upholstery, you don't see any fancy fittings, or it's just this rusted out hull. That's all that's left. That's the way it should be. But then you have, hey, here's Boston. You have the entire damn boat. Looks like it was just anchored there and left, and somebody could come along, put gas in it, and drive away.
Yeah. And it's not even getting to the fact that the DLC just has a straight up boat that's fully functional and working and perfectly fine. I was just thinking though, like, I would really like to see more details in the world design if you see the rusted out skeletons of ships like beached on the shore and stuff. Because I'm sure you've seen like pictures and videos of what beached ships look like when they've been sitting there for like 5, 10, 20 years. It's like...
You have a bit of that in Far Harbor.
A bit.
But yeah, it's not much. It's kind of like... Again, it's just like, this stuff is not well thought out. Or it leads me to some of my other headcanon that nuclear energy works completely different. I shouldn't say completely, but very differently in Fallout. And you kind of have to go with that, even with the original stuff. Because a lot of that shit just... I do have a bit of a problem with people who say, okay, this is like how people in the 1950s envisioned things were going to be after the bombs. To some extent, but even back then, they knew more about how nuclear energy worked than the games do. At least in terms of basic stuff like radiation poisoning and shit like that.
Yeah.
Ghouls, for example, that is just straight up a game thing. It's like, where the hell does it even come from?
Yeah. That's another thing, though, and I'll get to that after. You're still making a point.
Yeah, I'm just basically kind of rambling and ranting about it. I wound up having to do all my own damn headcanon to figure out hacks.
Yeah.
And it boiled down to my theory of atomic supercharging, where the initial blast of energy will destroy most of what it hits because it's actually just breaking up the atoms like it normally should, because radiation essentially works like a giant shotgun at the subatomic level. That's what makes it dangerous. But anything that survives is because its atomic particles, neutrons and such, were actually overcharged. So the matter that comprises it is surviving because it doesn't degrade as fast. This also might go to why ghouls can actually heal from radiation, because they're getting more power into these overcharged particles that make up most of what their bodies are. And the bits that burned away were the softer tissue for the most part. So, I mean, it makes sense, but again, I had to cobble this together because nobody ever had in mind that they would have to explain it.
So just quickly, what was that part about how radiation actually kills things again?
Radiation works like a subatomic shotgun.
Okay.
Different particles will do different things, and there's three major particles: alpha, beta, and gamma. Gamma, of course, is the most deadly because it's essentially energy-based. The other two are actually matter-based. Alpha and beta are broken helium particles. Or I should say broken helium atoms. If you put alpha and beta particles together, you would have a helium atom.
Okay.
That's the easiest way to explain it.
So the thing I was kind of wanting to say is, one thing I do find weird about specifically Bethesda's Fallout setting is how stupid and incompetent they make every company, where they're cutting like safety, cutting corners with safety everywhere because money, capitalism bad. It's really fucking weird in Bethesda's version of Fallout that pre-war ghouls weren't like a known thing. They weren't a known factor to exist.
Yes, Aimless, that is correct. Radiation destroys the protein chains making up your entire body and creates charged oxygen as free radicals. Yeah. The way it does that is because the bits and pieces of radiation that are shooting through your body knock stuff out. So you have, for example, you have a molecule made up of atoms. Bits and pieces of the molecule are being shattered by these bits and pieces of radiation flying through. It's also why alpha and beta particles, well, I should say alpha primarily, that's what you would ingest. It's like what comes down in the dust as fallout is alpha and beta particles primarily. So if it gets on your food, it gets on your clothes or whatever, it's still emitting energy, and that energy is going through your body like a shotgun. But it's doing it at the subatomic level, so you can't see it. In extreme cases, you might be able to see it because you're noticing the burn that's happening. You know, like in Chernobyl, where the guy picks up the fucking brick.
I haven't actually seen that show. I've been meaning to.
Oh, it's very good. There's a part where a firefighter... This isn't a spoiler. A firefighter is picking up a brick of graphite because he does not know what it is. It's just this broken thing. It's like, what the heck is this? It's this hot rock. And to the touch, it doesn't feel very hot. He's also wearing fireman's gloves. Within seconds, he's having to pull it off because his hands are hemorrhaging from the damage being done by the radiation. Now, that in and of itself is a bit fictionalized, but yeah, in extreme cases, you get radiation burns because that's what's happening, is the radiation is just shotgunning urine, whatever it touches on your body.
Yeah. Spoiler to a 30-year-old man-made disaster. Spoiler to the show is what he's referring to.
Yes.
Because the show is like a dramatized version of events. So it's going to have its own story and characters and stuff happening.
And it's got various errors and whatnot, but for the most part, it's a very solid treatment.
You mentioned the graphite. Was it you earlier in the stream, or was it somewhere else where I heard someone making a joke about how the communists went cheap with Chernobyl,
Yeah.
and that's why they used graphite instead of something else. So as soon as you mentioned him picking up graphite, I was like, oh no.
Well, yes and no. It's true that that's sort of the reason they were using graphite. Essentially, control rods are supposed to moderate the flow of radiation. Essentially, it's supposed to control. I shouldn't say the flow of radiation. The rate at which criticality is approached in a reactor. In other words, put rods in, cool down. Pull rods out, heat up. They had pulled out all but like 8 control rods before things went to shit. Because they were trying to jumpstart the reactor because they had managed to almost shut it down by mistake. At least this is the story of Chernobyl. The actual story is much more complicated.
Yeah.
The graphite bit is actually something of a shorthand for how the reactor was put together very cheaply. Also using a design that itself was intended to cut corners, where they figured, well, if we just put everything in the manual, it'll be fine, because then we can just blame whoever fucks up. It's like, you were supposed to read the manual. This would tell you not to do that. And then the KGB is like, well, we have to make this a state secret, because if the West finds out how shoddy our reactors are, we'll hear no end of it. But yeah, the actual construction of Chernobyl, not just that reactor, but virtually every RBMK reactor, it's a litany of, we didn't provide the right materials, we didn't provide them on time, we didn't provide the right labor, we didn't provide that on time. At the same time, the bureaucrats in Moscow are screaming for this to be done now. Kind of a miracle that they got it put together without blowing it up in the first place.
Azani Blackheart is dead. And
But yes,
our brothers
Robust
are
is
dead.
correct. Moderating the reaction of the... I'll leave it, guys.
Dead, finally. Good work. Did you retrieve his ring? I want that as proof that the Blackwood Company didn't defeat him. You've got it. Good. I'll use it to prove it was we, not the Blackwood Company, who killed him. Good work on this. Now get out of here. I'm going to head back to Coral. When there's more to do, I'll let you know. Your accomplishments are impressive. Because of this...
No, apparently I do have to go to Anvil and Shaden Hall again.
Of the Fighters Guild.
I thought it was deep enough into the questline that I didn't have to.
Dag nabbit, I was gonna say though about damn, don't know why I'm coughing so much all of a sudden. About how it works in Fallout, and I'm going strictly off of how things act in Fallout, and you died.
Yeah.
Sorry. Just by observing what's happening, and from what I know of how nuclear physics work, I just cobbled this together in my own head. Where essentially anything that doesn't get destroyed by the energy that's pouring through an object actually preserves what's left of that object. And it does this by adding power to the atomic structure, which is what keeps an atomic structure intact.
Just quickly, I have to do this entire fucking dungeon
Right.
again.
What the hell? You didn't save before any of that?
I mean, all the threats were dead, and I thought I could get by the blade trap, and then it hit me twice in quick succession, and like insta-killed me.
I thought you saved somewhere before that, my bad. Why am I apologizing?
I don't know, but I'm gonna make this quick, because I'm not doing all that again. There's no way in hell I'm doing all those fights all over again.
We're
Fuck
done.
that. I don't have the patience for that, man.
Hey, you earned it the first time. It's like, give me oh shit.
No fight, no levels? I don't care.
There's a hack for that.
I don't need levels anymore.
Blade Trap, the one Bethesda deadly trap.
Yeah, it certainly got me. In like a really ridiculous way.
Anyways, that goes to why so much seems to be preserved even in areas that have been nuked. Because it's like, okay, why is all this paper garbage still here? It should have gone to dust long ago. Oh, well, it's still carrying a radioactive charge. Why is this 200-year-old food still edible? Because it's still carrying its radioactive charge. Why is it that somebody can actually become a ghoul just by being near a low-level nuclear source over a long period of time? Oh, well, blah, blah, blah. And it's not a perfect theory, but it's the one that keeps me from grinding my teeth.
There's nothing about Fallout that could prevent me from fucking grinding my teeth at this point.
Yeah, but this goes back to the original though, the OG, because you have to. It's like, okay, why are there ghouls? Well, we wanted to represent basically the burn victims of Hiroshima. Okay, but why have them still around after 200 years? Oh well, magic. I mean, not even in the 1950s would anybody think that radiation will keep you alive, outside of bad sci-fi movies.
Yeah, it was mainly just like fiction, or it's like, oh, his exposure to radiation gave him superpowers.
Yeah.
Um,
Which we have by Fallout 4. I'm a magician.
God, I hate it so much, man. I fucking... Why won't it end?
And we, of course, have the pseudo... I don't know. I guess I have to call it canon. That you have the whole Krevbeknik, or whatever the fuck it is. All the what the fuck was his name? Lovecraft-inspired shit.
Oh, Cabot House?
Not just that, but I mean, going all, Fallout 3. I don't think there's anything like that for any of the preceding games.
No,
starting in Fallout 3, they started introducing some of this shit.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that fucking bugs me about Bethesda Fallout is, oh yeah, we're gonna add in all this Lovecraftian bullshit. I like Lovecraft, don't get me wrong. But, time and place, and I feel like Fallout has enough going on in its setting that we don't need, like, horrific Lovecraftian entities in the world. The Dunwich building, yeah. There's,
why don't we introduce the werewolves and vampires?
Which,
well, I'm sorry, we kind of did have vampires, but there was an actual... There was more explanation for this. Like, okay, these are just Romanians who are stupid.
And then Fallout 76 added werewolves.
Why?
To go back to the food preservation thing, though, Fallout 4 also explains, yeah, these things have enough preservatives so they'll never expire.
I mean, that is a throwaway line, but yeah, he says that too.
Yeah.
But the fact that you get radiation from eating pre-war food. That was how I explained that well before Fallout 4 came along.
Yeah.
Like, why are you getting irradiated from eating this? Well, it's because it's been sitting here that long. It's just been irradiated. But you would get that even in places, it's kind of like the jet problem. I was like, how is this shit getting irradiated when it's in a place that shouldn't be irradiated ever? It's like, what? Why is this jet here? Oh, well, jet was invented by Myron, and somehow it got into a vault that's never been opened. And then Pete Hines, we don't feel... In a game with super mutants and ghouls, do you think we care about continuity? Well, fuck you back.
Yeah, and it's the same shit as the fucking, hey, this has always been silly and stupid, so who cares whether things make sense or not, and that's part of why it's so fucking frustrating. Hello, Goatman. Hello, Horseman. Hello, all my Enwas.
You
Hello, Peanut.
Hello, what?
He's an exhumed legume. That's a peanut. Or a bean.
Oh. You said that right as I hit my soundboard for you, Enwa. But again, for some reason, the soundboard isn't playing through Discord. I don't know why.
You Enwa!
Well, Rumi just arrived, so I may have to knock it off here a bit. It's midnight.
Wah.
Well,
Well,
No, but
we'll
I-
see how willing he is to put up with it.
But, no, I had a good time chatting with you if you do have to go. It's been a good stream.
Yeah, I'm a bit talked out after that extended rant about how radiation does or doesn't work in Fallout. It's like that. I think I've mentioned before when I was writing for Tech Raptor, I had 2 like 5,000 word essays that were trying to explain Fallout because I had to get it out of my own head and onto paper.
Well, the same thing happened to me one day, and a YouTube channel spawned from it.
Yeah. Well, I'll catch you later. You have a good one, and we will talk at you later on.
Yeah, have a good one, man. Thanks for hanging out. I'm all alone, chat. I am lonely now. Let me see if there's someone else I can harass to join me. Ah! There we go. Pagan is online. I don't know if I want to bug him right now, though. You're not alone, Kree. I'm watching from under your bed. Well, that's pretty fucking impressive, considering there's no room for anything under my bed. Look, Kree, it's just an addition retcon. It doesn't contradict anything as long as you stack enough assumptions and headcanons on each other. Yeah. I'm a contortionist. No, I mean there's literally no room under there. Alright, chat. Let's not fuck this up and die again. Let's watch Kree die again. I will not. No way. We got autistic rants about BattleTech and MLP on one stream. You're spoiling us, goat. Nah. Like I said, I'm...
good work.
That was the perfect comment. Do they actually have comments for when you die?
Good work.
Oh my god.
Good work.
I had no idea they programmed in lines to play when you die. I had no idea. Now I get to do it too. Well, actually, he hasn't died yet. Good work. Wow, he didn't even leave. Get up, you lazy bastard. Why is he teleported into the air with me?
Azani Blackheart is dead. Dead.
Yeah, we did all this already.
It's good we've killed him. You've now. You're a. Be seeing you.
Alrighty. You never got stuck in loop then, is that true? I have no idea what you mean. I don't care if it never expires. Why is it all still so easy to find 200 years later? There should not be boxes of mac and cheese left. Yeah, that's one of the problems I have with the game too. Alright, chat. It is 3 a.m. I've been going for 3 hours and 50 minutes. Should I continue for a bit longer or should I call it here? I'm a bit tired. It is late. I should be working on stuff. 3 a.m.? Huh. I didn't realize it was 3 a.m. already. What the fuck? Are you sleepy? A little bit, but I won't be going to bed right away either. I'm probably going to work on stuff because I need to stay up most of the night because I go on to night shift on Monday. Daylight savings time kicked in. Hate. Let me tell you how much I've come to hate daylight savings time. I genuinely fucking hate daylight savings time. It is the worst thing ever. Hey, yeah, let's change the fucking time for no fucking reason. It's so goddamn dumb. It's like, it doesn't actually change the, like, daylight hours you have. You just shift what the time is for fucking no good reason. It's stupid and I hate it. Keep it going. I'm curious to your end goal. I'm just playing through the guilds, the quest lines in the game. Keep going forever? Unfortunately, I can't do that. I do need to sleep at some point. I do need to work at some point. So, yeah. It made sense when it was made because it was for candles since wax is not cheap. But now it is fruitless. Okay, you realize how that doesn't work though, right? We use candles to light up our homes when it's dark. But changing like time doesn't change when it gets dark or when it gets light. So you're still going to be using candles. It's designed by Big Time to fuck with your circadian rhythm for reasons. Yeah, you know what? I think I will call it here. Nah, I'm feeling tired enough. It's been a pretty decently long stream. So yeah, thank you for coming out, everyone. It's very much appreciated. I'll be back tomorrow, Sunday, with Demonologist. And I'm going to be playing with a few people, of course. So, have a good night. Thank you for coming out, and I'll see you later.
You can't!